Hello everyone! Welcome to a stream. It's Pix and Joel. We are live. And Minecraft is live. Welcome on in. This is the Spawn Chunks Minecraft Live watch party. We are now on screen. Say hi, Joel.
Hi, Joel.
Hopefully you guys can hear Joel okay.
30 seconds to say that. You can hear me okay. Can you not, sir?
I can hear you totally fine. I hope chat can as well. Skater Meech says yes, you can hear him. Very good.
Good.
Great stuff.
Good.
So it is, of course, Saturday, October 3rd, 2020. My name is Johnny. You guys know me as Pixlriffs. Joel Duggan is my friend here on screen. We are part of the Spawn Chunks podcast. If you don't know us, we are a weekly podcast about Minecraft. Joel, why don't you tell them a little bit about the show?
Sure. We talk about Minecraft news, Minecraft development, opinions about the game, what we're up to in the game. We also cover listener email and have guests on from time to time. And it's been, 2 years now, I guess, since we've been doing the show?
Yeah, we have been doing the show a little over 2 years. We started in August of 2018 when the update Aquatic came out. And we've obviously covered the last few updates. Hopefully, this Minecraft Live will have something else super interesting to share about what's coming next in Minecraft. So in the pre-show, we're probably just going to be taking it kind of casually. We're not sure what Mojang has planned for this pre-show. Apparently, some of the hermits are getting involved, maybe providing some video content and that kind of stuff. But we're just going to be here shooting the breeze until the main announcements start. And I'll be adjusting the volume a little bit so you guys can hear. Hopefully, they'll have live subtitles as well that we can watch. And yeah, hopefully we'll be able to adjust things as we go, but let me know if you need the volume turned up or down. Hopefully me and Joel should be audible throughout, and if you want to watch the show without our commentary, you can go to minecraft.net where there are a bunch of links to different places you can watch the stream. We're getting it live from YouTube in my Twitch feed here, and I think that should be basically everything you need to know.
There is one thing I will share with you. If you go to twitter.com/thespawnchunks, there's a live link there. If you want to share with some friends, if you're like, hey, there's some cool stuff happening over on Johnny Pixlriffs' Twitch channel with Spawn Chunks, then that's an easy way to let everyone know in your communities that we're live.
I also want to briefly mention that about an hour before this pre-show started, they gave another presentation for the Minecraft characters that are going to be included in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, and I wasn't even going to bring this up, but it's really impressive what they've done, so I highly recommend that if you haven't seen that presentation, go back and watch it after we get all the news from Minecraft Live, and I'm sure you'll have a fun time watching it. Looks like we have a little community pre-show warming up here, so as I said before, let me know if the volume is a little loud, a little quiet.
My name's Anthony, or Big B Stats, and welcome to Minecraft Live. I'm going to take this time and explain a little bit about myself and my relationship and history with Minecraft. It all started back in 2012. I didn't have a PC to where I could run.
It's a little quiet right now. That's okay. We are going to be talking over a lot of this, which is why I've put the subtitles on.
Fell in love with it.
But I'm going to be riding the fader a little bit so you guys can hear bits and pieces as it goes.
This right now, all because of Minecraft, that's allowed me to have this opportunity. I was also a part of the Minecraft live show back in 2018,
yes,
which was the first time they brought on creators, and it was just incredible. But it's a brand
okay, I can
new
pop the volume up a couple of notches.
Just going to be
there
phenomenal. We go. Now this year is the community pre-show, so you're going to hear a little bit about what's coming today. Also, we're going to hear from a few of our friends and what their year has been like, and what we love to see coming to Minecraft Live this year. Now, if you do speak another language besides English, don't worry, we're working with community.
We've got a countdown clock up there in the top right-hand corner that seems to be letting us know how long it's going to be until the main show.
Right.
They have let everybody know that some of the big announcements are going to be coming up front, so you will want to be here in 20 minutes' time. If you need to pop away, get some snacks, get some coffee, some tea, some water. I have a lovely little Minecraft Live glass of water that people have, the Minecraft team sent me along with a couple of other goodies ahead of the show.
It's not a space mug.
It's not.
You can't drink from that.
This is the space mug.
Hello.
Oh, we have more people.
My house.
Shovel.
I hope you're all staying safe and healthy. You might recognize me from last year's event.
She was on
or you
last
might
year.
not.
I remember
was
that.
blonde back then.
Yeah.
I'm a longtime Minecrafter, YouTuber, and lover of all things that let my imagination run wild. I'm also a known cat lover, and I would love to show you one of mine, but every cat owner knows you cannot tell them what to do. Anyway, we're going to start with the pre-show, where we're going to look at the last year in Minecraft. I've had my own exciting year in Minecraft. I was crowned a Minecraft champion. Twice. And then later we're going to...
Big announcement right at the start seems to be separate from updates and mob votes, so I wonder what that means.
I'm most excited about the mob vote, but I heard there's something big being revealed right at the beginning.
Minecraft
So
Dungeons,
don't go anywhere.
Minecraft Earth.
I'll be here watching
That's
too
cool.
to find out what
I'm
it
glad.
is.
It's fun.
So
Actually, I
grab
should have
some
mentioned that when we were talking about
and
what we
let's
do
get
with the
into
spawn
it.
chunks. Is that obviously over the
that
last
good?
year we've
Did I do good?
covered quite a lot of
Should I have
Minecraft
worn the
Dungeons.
crown? I tend
Yeah,
to
we
be
have,
more respectful
especially
than
recently
the
with the DLC coming out, sort of
Hello everyone,
pretty
I'm
recently.
Marielle, also known as
Um,
Marielitai. You may know me from a
we
couple
have
of
Marielle
Minecraft
here.
series that I participated in, like Harmony Hollow, Marielle Craft, and Gamecraft, just to name a few. But I'm also known in the community
Minecraft
for my
2,
innate
yeah.
ability
Won't be the
to
first time
break
we see
the
that.
game. Randomly, for no reason whatsoever, it just happens completely out of my control, completely out of my hands. I've had so many bugs and glitches happen
Alistair
to me
McFly
that
hoping
it's
for the
become
lava
this running
update.
joke on my channel, and it's hilarious.
Nice.
Now, this year has
That
actually
was
been a pretty
that was the
exciting
Nether.
year.
That's
I
what
was
that
able
was.
to
Yes.
participate in one of
They
the
just give you
Minecraft
more of it.
They
challenges.
update the environment
And I
around
also
the
met
lava.
A ton of new friends playing Minecraft
Yeah.
Dungeons. That was pretty cool and
Heck
awesome.
yeah, Minecraft
But
Dungeons.
today I'm here
Represent.
at the Minecraft Live community pre-show to talk to you all about something very exciting.
Yeah, I never got a chance to get back into that
mob
last
voting
night. I
process.
ended up streaming
Turns
No
out
Man's Sky,
that
but
Minecraft is bringing
I
3 new
I
mobs
will
for all
eventually
of
get
us
back
to
into
check out
dungeons.
and get to
Mhm.
know. We have the
We're talking about the mob
Cool.
vote here.
Earth, the Iceologist,
not tip
and last
in the
but
chat
certainly not
says,
least,
who are
the
you guys
great
voting
of
for
the
and why? I'm
series
assuming they're
new
referring to the mob
that's
vote.
Yep.
also
We
from
actually went
Minecraft.
into detail
For
about
those
all
of
of
you
this on
wondering
the last
which
episode
one's
of the
going
Sponge
to get
Chunks,
us in the
but
game,
to recap, we
that's up to
feel that
you,
the
community, to
Iceologer,
decide,
I think,
because
between the
throughout
two of us,
show,
we kind
all
of
of
came
you are
down and
going
say
to
that
be
that
able
would
to
add
vote
the
for your
most
favorite
to the
mob on
game
Minecraft
Yes.
for
community.
us.
Yeah,
As well
I
as
personally
there's
am going to
something
predict that the
There's
Moo
also
Bloom is
some
going to
multiple
win
voting rounds, so
because
make
it's a
Mhm.
popularity
Keep an eye on the
contest
vote,
and the Moo
because
Bloom is
things
pretty
can change
popular.
very quickly.
And
We need to
I've
make
seen a
sure
lot of
that
people
best
arguing that
mob
the
wins,
Iceologer
and
is
that
just
one,
going
in
to
my
make people
opinion, is the
miserable
most whipped.
in the same way that
That's the one I'm
Phantoms do
rooting
now
for,
because
and
it's
that's the
another
one that I'm
hostile
gonna be
mob.
voting for.
But I personally
Anyway,
think
that's
I'll
going to be
vote for the
important.
Iceologer
But
just
be sure
because
to
we
stick
know the
around to
most
find out
about
more
it.
about
They've
these
been
brand
fairly
new
vague about what
Minecraft
the other
mobs.
two will provide, whereas with the
Thanks,
Iceologer,
Marielle.
it's
Well,
pretty
I just
straightforward.
wanna
It's a
say,
hostile mob
I
that you can
actually
fight in
love all the
mountains.
mobs, if that's
Yeah,
even possible.
we've got
to
two
make that
hashtags
happen.
forming in
And
the
one of my
chat. We've
favorite
got
things
Moo
this year
Crew
to come to Minecraft
and the Glow
is the
Squid Gang.
1.16
So
Yes.
we need
Nether
we need a
update. There wasn't
hashtag
much to do
for
in
the
Nether, in my
Iceologer.
personal
I think
opinion.
that's the problem
And
with the
this update,
Iceologer
I
is
think
branding.
everyone
It doesn't
enjoyed
have a
me
hashtag
personally.
yet. I
I was
think
already a little bit
Cubfan,
afraid
when
of
he
the
took
Nether,
his vote,
but
was
now
using
I'm
something
even
like
more
the
scared.
Iceman or
Let's
something
get
like that, but even that
Makes
doesn't
me
quite...
go there.
It's
Makes
not
me
quite
No.
catchy
do things,
enough.
and there's so much that you can do
Hashtag
in the
Chillager.
Nether, and the fact that
Chillager
this
is
the
definitely
same
the
game, they
the
make
winner, I
updates
think. Yeah.
so great,
Yeah.
it feels like a whole new game, and you get that whole new experience
But
all over
yeah,
again.
when Cub
But
took a
that's
poll
just
on
my
Twitter,
story.
the
Here are some
Iceologer
more
did win.
stories
It had
from
like
a few
48,
creators and
or no,
friends around the
42.8% of the vote. But I
Hello,
wonder if
everyone.
it's Gem.
My
Hey,
name is
Gemini
Gemini.
Tay.
I'm gonna turn Gem
Nice.
up. Hang on.
Minecraft builder
Yeah, yeah.
and content creator on both YouTube and Twitch. I love using Minecraft as a platform to create art, and this year I've had a particularly amazing time doing so. I was invited to the early access beta for Minecraft with RTX on Windows 10 edition, and oh my gosh, it was incredible. Minecraft with RTX adds so many new amazing properties to the game. The new reflections and light emissivity is incredible.
I've played that
Being
map,
able
it's
to use
really
light
cool.
As a building block in the game is something I've looked forward to for such a long time, and it's finally here. Definitely have had such an amazing time using that to my advantage to create more depth and dimension in my Minecraft worlds.
Fala galera, eu sou o Forever Play Games, crio conteúdo de Minecraft pro YouTube há mais de 8 anos e hoje
The-
vim aqui falar pra vocês as duas
So
coisas
we had
que eu
Gemini
mais
on
gostei
Spawn
do
Chunks
update do Nether.
episode
Então, beleza,
77,
estou
a
aqui no
creative
mundo
conversation with
onde
Gemini
eu
Tay
jogo
back in
sobre
February. I just
sobrevivência,
put the
não
link in the
uso
chat for
sobrevivência pra
anybody.
nada. E como uma pessoa
I just
que
had to
joga
switch the
primeiro
subtitles
no
off because they're
Minecraft
trying to
mesmo, uma das
subtitle
coisas
what this
que eu
dude's
mais
saying in
gostei
English,
do
but
update
the
do Nether
subtitles
foram
are
os
already
blocos.
translating
Ó,
for him.
Então se você der uma olhada aqui, eu fiz um portal que vai pro meu Nether utilizando os novos blocos.
Yeah, I wonder if there's going to be
Sério,
any
eu tô
Minecraft
apaixonado
RTX
nas
stuff in this
possibilidades
presentation,
que
considering the
vocês
hype around the
trouxeram pra
30
gente
series
em
that
termos de
Nvidia just
criação.
Oh,
released.
Nvidia?
Yeah. I'm wondering if we're
Yeah,
going to see
but-
some more Minecraft RTX stuff today.
Wasn't it something like RTX 4K in like 60
Yeah, yeah,
FPS?
yeah, no, they-
That's what the card is boasting it can do.
They have locked it down now, and the beta has been out, I think, for a little while. That has introduced lighting to the Nether as well, which it wasn't in the previous versions. So I'm wondering if there's going to be like an announcement for an ultimate release date for the Minecraft RTX pack right now.
YouTube content creator and Twitch streamer. My favorite memory from Minecraft this year has got to be when we defeated the Ender Dragon for the very first time. I have never seen this fight before and had no idea what to expect. We spent hours and hours preparing and defeated the Ender Dragon our first try in about 15 minutes.
Respectable.
It was so much fun.
15
I
minutes,
cannot
jeez.
wait to see what Minecraft has in store for us this year.
I think this is the initial trailer for the Nether update.
Oh yes, right. I was like, I've seen this before.
I always like the way they animate the Enderman in... Oh, Steve got shot.
Oh yeah, have you not seen this?
No, I have not. Yeah.
He got an arrow in the knee.
Of course. Your adventuring days are over. That's super fun.
Piglins are accurate. They just kind of one-shotted both players.
Yeah, pretty much. I was saying I really like the way they animate Enderman. They've always got that big kind of like gangly thing going on. Have you seen in the Smash DLC that has Minecraft characters, there is an Enderman, but he has to be the same size as a player. So everyone's joking about him being like Gary the little Enderman. And they've kind of the community has definitely adopted him as like a kind of an underdog champion at this point, which is very fun.
Gary. It's one of those things where like, yeah, that works. It like the name fits. It's silly enough to just kind of catch on.
I think the hot dish has an Enderman called Dave, so yeah, it's like mundane names work really well for Enderman because they're so otherworldly.
Yeah.
Super cool. Yeah, I've not seen that all the way through. I guess I knew enough about the Nether update already that I never saw the official trailer for it, so that's very cool.
Live. I'm Nick Pickett.
And I'm Elliot Choi.
And we built a one-to-one replica of the University of California, Berkeley with 200 of our fellow students, faculty...
Cool, one-to-one
alumni,
representation
and
of a
those
university.
for
That's really cool.
Yeah, I love to hear about all of these community projects. They always look fantastic.
A production company, and dozens of our own builders.
So while we're going through some of this pre-show stuff, which of course everybody can go back and watch once it's uploaded to the Minecraft YouTube channel after this, so I don't feel too bad talking over this, Joel. How do you feel about what we're going to be seeing today? Like, what are your expectations? What do you think we're gonna get from this presentation?
So last weekend, and actually, I think I streamed a little bit this week after our conversation on Monday when the mob vote was out there, and the feeling that I got from most of my community was that the mob vote feels a little bit lackluster.
Yeah.
And it feels like, well, why are we voting on all of these things when they should all be just included in the game? And I think that the mob vote is more of a marketing thing to get people to attend.
Yeah, sure.
Because they have something else bigger and more important to talk about. I actually don't know what that could be. They've talked about, we voted on mountains before we got mountains, right? We voted on taiga before, and that was actually implemented. Mountains has not been implemented yet.
Yeah.
I hope they let us know when mountains is coming.
Yeah, I would presume that mountains is going to be a pretty significant part of whatever the next update is.
But I don't think mountains is the whole thing. Do you know what I mean? It's not going to be the mountain update like it was with the villagers and like Village and Pillage.
Yeah.
That wasn't just one biome. Like taiga was part of Village and Pillage, right? Like that's when that came out.
Yes, yeah. So you can expect that if we're getting an update that's just mountains, it's going to be a small thing, maybe a holiday update, and then hey, it's good times with Scar. Hey,
nice.
I will turn up Scar because we like him.
I've now been playing Minecraft for 10 years.
Not that we disliked other people.
No,
And
absolutely.
what better way to celebrate 10 years playing Minecraft but to hang out with you here at Minecraft Live and to speculate on what we'd like to see added to Minecraft.
He's
and
doing
way
what we're
back
doing.
in the day when they added colored glass to the game, I thought, how cool would it be if
Is he
these
live
naturally
now as well?
generated in caves as if they were crystals, just colored crystals hanging from the caves, just to add a little life, a little energy to the caves. And I thought that would be fun, but let's take this up a notch. Say we're down in the caves and we break open a wall into a gigantic cave with cathedral ceilings, crystals hanging down from the ceilings, and these crystals come in all the variety of colors in Minecraft, and
He's
we
on a
pick out
crystal
one
kick
that we
this year.
like. Say we're going to pick out the orange one, and we knock down that orange crystal, and we can take the fragments of this orange crystal and put it in a torch or put it in a lantern, and we're now casting orange light in Minecraft.
Colored
That is
lighting.
right. We can now cast colored light of all varieties in Minecraft via torches or lanterns.
Man after my own heart right here.
Atmosphere, and we will design possibilities with our builds. Just imagine your builds now, but being illuminated with color light. How amazing would that be? Now, another thing I'd love to see
It's so
added
funny.
to Minecraft.
Whenever he says the
is
word
some way
amazing,
of
he almost puts an O at the
auto-loading
beginning
and
of it.
injecting
Because
music
he's so
Amazing.
excited.
so now we have colored light in the game along
Hey,
with
Throwlash, what's up?
auto playing music. We've basically together here created a disco on Minecraft, and that sounds absolutely amazing.
We got
So
some
what do you think of those
folks in the
ideas?
chat saying
And I
Scar
cannot
is
wait to find out
forecasting a
what
cave
Ariel
update.
is coming soon.
Hey everyone, it's Crew. We have been
Oh my
huge
goodness.
fans of Minecraft since the very beginning
That is
and
a
have
lot
so
of
much
hair.
fun creating videos. From silly
I bet these guys are interested in having colored lighting as well.
Creativity is literally limitless.
I need to
in
improve the
Minecraft.
lighting in here.
That's
This
why
is-
we're so
I have
excited
all the
to
lights
follow
on.
Squid.
You're coming through loud and
My-
clear, Joel. It's all good.
My the webcam doesn't want to focus here. It wants to focus on the white wall behind me.
Maybe we'll be able to craft glowing armor. I wonder what sound the glow squid makes. Like this.
The official live chat apparently just went crazy when caves were mentioned. I'm not surprised. The cave update has been one of those things the community has just been on and on about for the last little while.
Yeah. Well, especially because, I mean, it is Minecraft and you spend an awful lot of time mining.
Absolutely.
Something that I actually really enjoyed about my recent modded playthrough was all the different stuff that you get to see while you're mining in modded, you know?
Yeah.
It was really well spaced out things like copper and aluminum and tin and salt, and the mod had cave biome updates, so like it was the same old. It was the exact same gameplay, but because it gave you something new to look at, it did refresh the feeling quite a bit.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's going to be really interesting to see what they've got coming out. For people in the chat who are wondering, this is all a community pre-show, so anybody talking about stuff right now is just talking about, like, features they would like to see coming to the game and experiences they've had themselves, not just, you know, they're not, like, spoiling everything for you. Like, none of this is, like, official information. It's all just community speculation at this point. Which is also kind of what we're doing.
Hello.
Hey, it's
Thanks,
Iskal.
Hey, let's go. Right on.
Some familiar faces.
Today is a big day.
I love his office.
Okay? It's an omega big day today because it's one of these days where
It's
we get
funny,
to
I just
know
realized
the latest
that,
and the greatest
I've seen
surrounding
pictures of
Minecraft.
his
Now, being a big
home
action
before on
RPG
social
fan,
media.
I've obviously
Yeah.
been
But he moved
completely
this summer. He
stuck
bought a
with
house,
Dungeons
so
He did,
since
yeah.
it came
new.
out, and
Yeah.
we already got lots of new stuff.
I'm taking
like
notes
we
right
got
now.
the-
I really
we got the
wanna
winter update, we got the
redo my
jungle
office.
update. I wonder if they're gonna
Nice.
make another like themed upgrade. Maybe
Yeah, if I streamed, I'd be streaming
maybe
from the computer
mountains,
behind me,
like
so
dungeons
it
goes
would be pointed this way, not that way.
Everest, Or,
Yeah.
or maybe
I'd have
an
to figure something else
oceanic update. That'd be kind of weird, swimming around underground and stuff like that. Anyway, personally, I'm hoping for two things. I'm hoping that we'd be able to customize our little character a little bit more, like the visuals of the character. I'd love to see like being able to get a skin that's outside the game into the game. That would be absolutely amazing. And I would
Interesting. Player skin
like
changes.
to be able to change up that little base area, add things, maybe put things on the wall. You find a cool sword, put it on the wall, memorize it. That would be absolutely amazing.
You know, that's a very good point. I wonder what's coming next in Dungeons. Well,
Yeah,
that's
Minecraft
what we'll have
Dungeons,
to
I think,
see.
still has
Thank you
room
from
for
me and everyone
customization
you've
in that
seen so far
sense.
for watching
Like,
the pre-show.
that seemed to be what he was
Minecraft
talking
Live is
about.
just
I thought he was talking
starting.
about
It's
Minecraft,
such a
and I was
small
like,
part of this
he was
community.
talking about swimming
So it's
around. I was like, we can do that, Iskal. What are you talking about? Then I twigged that
Yeah.
he was talking about dungeons. So
Dungeons, yeah.
imagine an ocean biome update for dungeons. What would that even look like?
I don't know. I think I mentioned one time on the show that I would think that it would be more of a not a guardian temple, but a ocean monument, but to be walking on dry, you know, hallways, but underwater, you know, like in a bubble city sort of thing.
Yeah.
I think that would be cool.
Yeah, that'd
be the easiest way to implement it. I don't know. I mean, no one wants a Super Mario 2 swimming level, I don't think, in Dungeons.
yeah. Or a Legend of Zelda water temple situation. I don't know.
Yeah.
Give them a treat, So I just went into Feather Adventures and I made a green screen inside of the dog's house and for feathers as well.
Mr. Gummy Bear says, I need a flower cow for my cow collection. Yeah, we could have potentially 3 kinds of cows by the end of this, in theory. Or another type of squid.
Well, we have 3 types of cows now, don't we?
Oh, I guess we have brown mushrooms as well as red mushrooms. So technically 4, but I guess I was just treating them about the same species.
Someone on Twitter was all about the brown cow from another update. It was like a woolly cow. They wanted if they wanted a woolly cow from Minecraft Earth instead of the Moo Bloom.
Yeah, like the Highland cow looking one with the fringe.
Yeah,
I do like those.
A new animal. This is
A new animal that will absolutely throw you off that cliff. Although I think she's playing in creative, so
yeah. Can't figure out who it was. I can't find the tweet.
So I have the Minecraft Twitter account open, and I'm going to be refreshing throughout the stream, so that hopefully we'll get the mob vote stuff showing up there. For folks who don't know, the mob vote is happening at twitter.com/Minecraft, so make sure you've got that handy, or if you've got your phone or your iPad or whatever devices you have around, tune in when the time comes.
I don't understand how I've got 2 giant monitors and I'm quickly running out of space to have Windows open.
We also have 1,100 people here in the chat. Thank you so much for stopping by and celebrating Minecraft Live with us. It's super cool to be doing this for you guys this year. Some folks asking about what my thoughts are on Steve for Smash. I thought the presentation they did today with all of the moves and kind of illustrating how they put Minecraft mechanics into Smash is absolutely incredible. I'm not even a Smash player, and I am wholly impressed with what they have done. So I think we're probably going to share more thoughts on that when we have a chance to on the Spawn Chunks podcast, but I would recommend anybody, even if you're not interested in Smash at all, but you're a Minecraft fan, I really recommend going and checking that out, because it's a phenomenal tribute to what Minecraft is.
Oh my gosh.
There's some modded shenanigans happening here and there.
People reacting to bees and stuff?
Yeah.
Or are they trying to give predictions?
I think this is more of a, just like a look back at what Minecraft has been for this last year. The Buzzy Bees update, Minecraft Earth. There's probably going to be bits and pieces of Minecraft Dungeons in here as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, not tip. The vote is at Twitter's Minecraft account, twitter.com/Minecraft, or at Minecraft. That guy's like, it's Pumbaa.
Hakuna Matata.
That's so great. There it is. There it is, the Minecraft Dungeons action.
Nice.
Beth is Steve for life. That's the main thing I'm looking forward to with future Minecraft Dungeons DLC. Can I punch my way through it?
Mm-hmm.
Just the sad slow motion of the bee dying.
Yeah, really.
And you want to say that update was just bees, but in retrospect, that update added a lot of stuff. Even though it was a relatively small one and was mostly focused on bees and bug fixes, we also had stuff like, honey blocks, which were huge for technical players. You have easier Elytra takeoff, was only really possible since 1.15. You have, being able to set a respawn point without having to sleep. Sponges drying out in the Nether, bells being rung with redstone. Like, I was going back through the changelog for 1.15, and it's a lot bigger than you think it is.
Yeah, I think the difference is that and where people look at it as a quote-unquote smaller update is that because it doesn't add any new biome material or new block, new blocks, but the honey block is not a new, tree or...
This is me. They put me on the stream. Hello.
Nice.
Hi, Mom. I'm on Minecon.
Nice.
The light beams.
Right next to Mumbo.
Yeah. It's like they put 2 people with British voices together. Great stuff.
Spoonerism? Where did you die?
Where's the Barefist Steve representation? That's what I want to know.
Oh, I'm doing it now.
It was me. That was my 5 seconds of fame, folks. You were here for it. Hype emotes in the chat. But yeah, like we even if we just get a mountains update, it's presumably going to have a bunch of other really cool stuff in it. So I would encourage people to be optimistic about whatever they've got planned for the next update. And it must have been really difficult to develop some of this stuff while everyone's had to be, working from home in isolation and so forth. So yeah, I'm really hoping they've come up with something special despite the adversity that everyone's been working for. There you go. And speaking of which, we've got a notification on screen here letting people know that everyone is being respectful of social distancing and so forth. But this seems like it might be our main show.
Yeah, we got a minute to go.
All right.
Here's the dude.
I'm gonna roll up the volume and we're just gonna enjoy this together.
This is the second time they've done this with the little zombie, I think.
Yeah, I think they had the zombie chicken jockey was in the trailer for this event specifically. There's the Axolotl.
I think it was last year too.
There's the glow squid as well. I really like the way they've incorporated real-world scenes into the Minecraft aesthetic with this. And the pandas in a real bamboo forest, that's very sweet.
Hello and welcome
There's
to
Lydia.
Minecraft Live 2020. I'm Lydia Winters, your host and chief storyteller for Mojang Studios. We're coming to you live from Stockholm, Sweden, the birthplace of Minecraft. Some of our amazing team members couldn't be here today, so we recorded the Minecraft Earth and Creator Tools segments in Redmond earlier this week. We are so thankful you're joining us. Before we get started, we want to acknowledge the number of challenges around the world right now, as well as the mental, physical, and emotional toll those challenges are taking on all of us. With that in mind, we want to give the opportunity today to take a breath, have fun, enjoy the games we love, and celebrate all of you, our incredible Minecraft community. It won't all be easy. You'll have to decide which mob to vote into the game, which, based on votes in previous years, will be super tough. You'll not only get to hear about what's coming to your favorite Minecraft games, you'll also hear directly from the development teams. We want you to leave today knowing about the exciting additions coming to Minecraft and also why our team has made those decisions. An insider's look at what's brewing at Mojang Studios. Today, we're kicking things off with the announcement of we're gonna tell you right now.
Okay, here it is, folks.
They weren't kidding about the jokes.
There's Agnes.
Hi, Agnes and Brandon.
Hi, Brandon.
Let's do this.
So, okay, the next update is the update that we know that so many of you, and well, so many of us as well, has been wanting for such a long time.
For real?
It's the Caves and Cliffs update.
Caves! It's caves! We did it! Hey! Fireworks!
It must feel amazing to be
Caves
able to tell
and
everyone
cliffs,
that.
though.
Seriously, like, I'm so excited about this. I mean, even before I joined Mojang, I was always thinking about, like, when is the cave update gonna come? And this is it, but it's also got the cliffs as well. It's got the mountains. Like, this is such a big update.
Get
and
some
I'm
hype.
so excited.
How are you feeling, Agnes?
Great, like, no, it's so good. So, we have been working on this update for quite long, and we're like, we can't wait to tell everyone, and now we just announced it, and it feels
We're actually
amazing.
getting our first live look at some reactions.
Oh.
Okay, that's very cute.
So cute.
I guess Agnes didn't know that was coming.
Those mobs are very, very excited. This year, we asked some of our communities to submit questions that we'll answer across the show. This first question definitely feels like something everyone wants to know.
Mi pregunta es, ¿por qué se han tardado tanto en actualizar las cuevas y cuándo llegarán? En verdad que hemos estado pidiendo esto por muchísimo tiempo.
Why so long for caves?
Why has it taken so long? Like Brandon, I've been waiting a long time too.
Yeah, that's a very good question. So since this update really is the update, like we have been dreaming about it for so long, so it felt so important for us to do it right. Like we don't want to rush it. But now we feel it's the right time. Like we have spent the time we need to really like understand the vision we have for the update, and also to make sure that we understand what the community actually wants. And we've also like planned around it to make sure that we really can work together with the community to make this and like as epic update as possible. And we have also hired some new amazing developers to the team.
Yeah.
And you're one of the
hadn't thought of
amazing
that.
developers, Brandon.
Yeah, I joined this year in January, and I actually came from the community. I used to do modding for
It's
10
cool.
years.
It's super great
One of the first mods
to see that all of these developers have been hired on because they want to make this a really important update for the community as well.
here and work on an update this epic.
I'm so happy to have you.
We have another creator question.
Hi, I'm the Pink Diamond Diva, and this is my question. Are you making the caves more advanced for older players so they can mine deep, or are you making them more accessible and easy to navigate for newer players?
Such a great question.
Yeah, I mean, with this update, we're making sure that we can have as much variation as possible within the actual caves themselves, but we want to make sure that the old caves are still retained as much as possible to keep that classic feel.
Yeah, and we really
I'd imagine
also
that
looked into
cave
to make sure that we
update
have
is
something
just
for
really
everyone.
technically difficult.
Because we have
Yeah.
such a huge community, and it's also very
I'm sure we'll
diverse
hear a little bit
community,
more
and
about
that's
that
such
as
a
we go
beautiful
on here.
thing. So we really want this update to have something for everyone. So actually, we made sure to map all the features in the update to different player styles to really see that we fulfill that goal.
That's so cool. And you had such a big thought process on how you decide what even goes into an update this big.
Yeah, we have spent quite a lot of time on just making sure that we have a very good like fundament for the update. For example, we did the player style mapping, and we've also worked with design pillars. So the design pillars, they kind of describe the vision of the update. So for example, they help us when we like prioritize between different features, and also when we design each specific feature. And we have 3 pillars for this update. And the first one is actually all about like the spectacular mountains, the snowy snow, and the mischievous goats.
So we're still getting
Because
mountains.
At last year's live, the players voted for these features, and we felt like it's so important to deliver on that promise. So we actually wanted to have it as a pillar.
Yeah, and another pillar that we actually
Good
integrated
feedback.
into this was adding strategy to mining. So of course, Minecraft already has plenty of strategy in mining, but we wanted to see
Strategy.
if we could push that just a little bit further and add even more mechanics that make it interesting for players
That's
to
funny,
mine in
that's
the cave.
kind of just what I said
And the
before
third
about
pillar
the modded
is to
experience, right?
create an underground of marvel for the players. And
Marvel,
that
not
pillar is
marble.
a lot about like adding
With
variation
a V, not a
to
B.
the underground, and like contrasts, and like inspire players to like craft their own underground adventures and build underground. And one thing we have done to like fulfill this pillar is that we have added new cave biomes.
Yes,
And one of
cave
them is the Lush
biomes.
caves.
Lush cave.
Lush caves, okay. Is that a new tree type? There's definitely new plants in that tree, right?
Yeah, new flowers in the tree. I wonder if it's like an indication that there's a lush cave, so that you can find them on the surface.
Oh, look at
Cool.
this. Yeah. Oh my goodness.
So we've got vines.
We've got moss there. It looks like there are layers. There's like layers of moss on the floor. Like
Yeah,
snow
looks
layers
like a
would
mossy
be.
block.
Layers of stuff. And look at those flowers. This is incredible.
The moss hanging on the edge of something.
Yeah.
like it droops down.
And we've got some regular vines, but of course we've got like... Those have like berries and stuff in, I guess?
Yeah.
It's
No more
so
people
beautiful.
changing
It
carpet to
doesn't
grass to
feel
hide torches.
cave-like.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, we wanted to make sure that, of course, in Minecraft, all the original caves, you know, they're pretty much the same. There's not much variation in terms of vegetation or different features inside of it. So for this, we wanted something which is a bit more like light and lush and actually has vegetation. And I mean, I think it looks amazing.
It's gorgeous. What was the inspiration behind it?
So we were thinking about, okay, so how should it feel when you are in a lush cave? And we wanted to be like, so you feel like very tiny inside like a big garden or big forest. So like when you look up, it's actually like vegetation above you, it's vegetation around you. And one source of inspiration
So
we
it's
have
kind of like
is
the
actually
roofed
Swedish
forest,
painter
but a
called
cave
Bauer.
version, more or
'Cause
less.
in his paintings, it's always
Oh, wow.
or often at least,
Really interesting
like
to
a
see the
tiny
source material
character,
for some of
and
these
then
updates.
It's like huge forest, and you see like the bottom of the trees.
I didn't
because
catch the name, but
vegetation
it's a
is
Swedish
so
painter.
big compared to the character.
And you're adding so many new plants in the Lush caves.
Yeah, so I don't know if you saw, but
New
there
plants?
was this new tree that was actually above on the overworld.
Yeah, I was right.
And this is called an azalea tree.
Oh,
so it's a
it's-
unique type of tree that it'll be easy to spot for players.
I think of azalea
And
as
if you actually
bushes, but I
find
guess
this
it does
and start
grow
going
into like
down its roots,
small trees.
You will find a lush cave there. So this is another
Yeah.
part of adding strategy to mining.
Interesting.
Where, you know, there are certain landmarks which will allow you to understand what you're doing
Smart.
in the game.
Rather than searching endlessly
And
underground
another
hoping you
one
find
of the
one.
new
Yeah,
blocks
it's like
is a block called
signposted that way.
Spore
That's
Blossom.
cool.
And it's that you maybe saw it in the video. It's a
Wonder if
big
it's a new
pink
wood type, too.
flower that you find in the roof of the Lush cave, and it will drip particles from that flower, but it will also actually feel like a big volume around it with particles. So it's similar to the particles that we added to the
Nice.
Nether biomes in the Nether update.
Ambience.
But the cool thing here is that you can move the flower if you want to and get this particles anywhere you want in your world. So you can
Yeah,
actually be very
So you,
creative with
it's
that.
not biome
So awesome.
specific.
And
That's
it's-
awesome, yeah.
The Lush caves have a real glow to them from one of the plants.
Yes.
There's a glow?
So there are vines in the in the Lush caves, and they have glow berries on them, and
The
these are actually
berries.
a light source. And you can also
Oh.
pick them and eat them if you want to.
That's
If I
so
eat
cool.
glowberries, do I glow?
And
Yeah,
another
that's-
plant we actually
the glowing
have
effect.
is the drip leaf plant, and you can actually see that they can kind of grow from like water or anywhere else,
Drip
and
leaf.
they grow quite tall, but they have like a little plant on the top that you can actually hop onto. So
Like
the idea of the
platforms?
mechanic behind it is that the leaf will actually tilt down when you stand on it too long. So this will actually make you fall through.
Oh,
However, after a few
it's a
seconds, it'll
parkour
come back
plant.
up. So it's kind of this like platforming block
Drip
that
leaf.
allows you to just, you know, continue platforming over and over again.
The
which
slime
I
block
hope
sound
really
is not
exciting
great,
for,
but
you know,
that's
content
cool.
creators making maps.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can build like your own platforming levels, and then they will repair themselves. That's kind of neat.
That's really interesting. Almost like a a timed platform.
It's so beautiful in there. And there's
Organic,
actually a
though.
mob coming to the Lush caves.
There's a mob coming?
Yeah.
There is, but we will actually not tell you about this mob now,
Oh,
because
okay.
in the end of the show we will show even more features coming to the Caves and Cliffs update,
Right.
and then we're gonna show that mob.
This is
so
the
much.
first time we have
So
so
they're not
much
showing,
that we're actually
yeah, so they're not actually
splitting
showing everything up at the
the
front.
update section into two.
Right.
At the beginning and towards
So we
the
have
end
big
of the
announcement
show.
now, more details later.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so exciting.
You've also worked on improving the cave
Is it weird that I can't
generation.
stop looking at the coffee table?
It's a cool coffee table. It's all blocks.
It
Yeah,
is really
so
cool
as you
coffee
can
table,
see
yeah.
here, I mean, this is drastically
Wow, okay, that
different
is,
to what caves used to look like.
improved
and there's
cave
definitely
generation.
still the old style of caves, but we wanted to make sure that there was much more variety in the sort of caves and the shapes
Underwater
and the
caves.
sizes you could get.
This is what Iskal was
And
talking
even
about
here, you
wanting
can
in
see that
dungeons.
there's some
It was
water
like a
underground.
swimming cave
Yes,
experience.
So we actually added something we call local water levels. So in one cave you might find like a cave lake, and another cave might not have that one. And this also means that we get naturally generated waterfalls, which is so pretty.
I feel like they've
And
got
it also kind of gives
fabulous
like, new ways
graphics
to
on for this because of the way the
traverse
light behaves.
underground. You can
There's
actually
like
go
bloom
cave
happening here and there,
rafting.
which is quite interesting.
Yeah, so you'll see in a bit that
I wonder if they've
our
improved
player
that
here
at all.
will actually use a boat to raft.
Stalactites and
And that is
stalagmites.
just such an exciting opportunity to be able to traverse the caves
Oh, and you can
in
like
a very different way.
you can
than
travel
used to.
around caves on a boat. That's so good.
Testing, and then one of the devs
Yeah,
like,
they said something about a
"Look
local
at this,
water
it's
level
so fun,"
too.
and all of us just started
So
to
like
go
no
with the
more
boat on the water.
ocean,
It was a lot of
sea
fun.
level kind of thing. That's a very
So another
big
thing
cave
to note here
environment
is
as
that you
well.
can see that a lot of the ores were actually glowing. This is just for preview purposes. Ores aren't going to glow now. It's just that the caves tend to be quite dark, and
So
we want to make
here's
sure
a
that
feature
players
we
can
didn't
see
add
the
to the
shapes of
game:
the cave.
glowing ore.
Now, will that
Yeah.
only be for the like normal caves, or will this run across all of the new cave biomes?
Yeah, so the really cool thing is that like the new cave shapes and sizes is completely independent from the
Oh,
new
neat.
biomes. So that means that we have so much variation. Because for example, a lush cave can, for example, generate in a super narrow tunnel, but it can also generate in like a huge cavern.
Can you imagine?
And that creates completely different atmospheres,
gonna
but
show it?
still the
Yeah,
same biome.
I hope so.
So we're really gonna have lots of
they
variation
didn't
on the
show it.
ground now.
You've been
That's
calling
cool.
two of the different cave types spaghetti and Swiss cheese? Like that's how varied the caves could be?
Yes, I mean, there are so many different variables of how the variation works, and I mean, it has even more variation than the overworld itself. It's just crazy.
It's a lot. Yeah, some of the caves, for example, have really cool pillars, and some are more like flat, some are tall. Lots of variation.
Very nice. And you have another new cave biome to show us.
More cave biomes,
Yes, so
please.
we have the Dripstone caves biome.
Oh, look at
And
this.
whenever I think about the idea of a cave update, the image of
Actual
and
stalagmites.
stalactites comes into my head. But adding these are pretty difficult. You know, it's a very unique shape that Minecraft isn't really accustomed to.
it comes to a
But
point.
I think the way that the artist put
Yeah.
it into Minecraft works quite well. And of course, there's some mechanics surrounding this, so you can see
They
that
fall?
someone destroyed the block
What?
at the top, and so the dripstone fell down. And also, unfortunately for this zombie here, if you fall on
Yeah.
They act like
these
spikes.
dripstones, you will get hurt.
Something for technical players too, right?
There's another
Absolutely.
interesting mechanic in the Dripstone cave.
That's going to make them pretty
Yes,
difficult
so
to
maybe
walk
say in
around,
the
but
video that,
wow.
Like from the
Yeah.
stalactites, you could see that it was like dripping water. So actually, if you put a cauldron under a stalactite, it will fill
Oh,
up with water. So
that's
it's
neat.
renewable water.
I like all of these little
And
sketches as
how
well.
do you remember which is stalactites
Oh yeah, the
and
concept art is really cool.
stalagmites?
Well, that's a very good question. It has been very tricky to remember that, but I think I learned. So we actually, it's hold on tight to stalactite. I was going to say the wrong one. So stalactite is in the roof and stalagmite is on the floor.
Perfect. We've been practicing that, all of us.
I love how everybody's double checking. Like that's right, right?
Yeah.
You have something really amazing in this update.
I don't know if the
for
spikes are
sort of
going to
redstone
instantly kill stuff
engineers
like
out
they did in
there.
that video. That was probably just for
Yes,
demonstration.
So we've actually been thinking about this redstone block that lives in the deep dark, a new biome at the deepest depths of the world.
Okay.
We're not going to talk about this biome too much today,
The deep
but we
dark.
are going to show some of the blocks and maybe later a mob that comes from it. So if we look at the video,
That
we
sounds
can
scary.
actually see
Oh,
that
what?
it's basically this growth. And this is called the skulk
That
blocks.
that looks very end
And
themed
one
to
of
me.
the blocks is called the
Yeah.
skulk sensor.
What did that
this
just
is the new
do?
redstone block.
Hello?
As you can see, when you place or destroy a block, or if you have footsteps, it'll actually detect the vibrations around and then emit a redstone
Like
signal.
a motion sensor? Are
So
you
this is going to be
serious?
very interesting
Like
for
wireless
redstone
redstone.
players. We even have a mechanic around it where you can actually use wool with wool occlusion to essentially prevent signals from being able to get into the skulk
So
sensor.
if you
So
walk
let's
on
take a look at
carpet
that now.
around it, it's not going to hear you?
And
That's
as you can see here,
really
I
cool.
walked next to the skulk sensor, and it's actually kind of doing an infinite loop where the piston is causing a vibration, and then
Oh,
it's
wow.
activating
okay.
the skulk sensor and going over and over again. But here, I've actually put a wool block in between the piston, which prevents the signal from going to the skulk sensor.
So wool is a technical block now, is what I'm learning.
Yeah.
This can allow you to even do sort of directional skulk sensors. where you
Mumbo
can put
is
wool blocks on
screwed.
each side
Oh, yeah.
And only allow it to detect vibrations in front of
I
it.
feel so bad for
And
Tango
vibrations can be
because
so many different
Tango
things,
has been
right? It
doing
could be
all
a
of those like
snowball,
player
hit, it could
detectors with
be an
pufferfish, and then
arrow,
they're like,
it
nope,
could
you have
be
a block that does
footsteps,
that
it could
now.
be blocks,
Yeah.
anything.
But what, like directional?
So it's
That's so
it's a sound
Another
block.
thing we actually,
Yeah.
Well, we had
Yeah.
a different happy accident with this because we realized that we get wireless redstone thanks to the skulk sensor.
Yes.
So, and we didn't even plan
That's
to add it.
really
But
interesting.
then when we started
Neat.
playtesting, we're like, wait,
Oh,
we got wireless
boy.
redstone, and that's so exciting. And well,
And
you
with
can
such an
do so
organic
many cool
looking
things
block
with
as
that.
well, that's
It'll
such
be
an
exciting to see
interesting
the community.
implementation of
Yeah.
it.
Yeah,
This is
you're
like
really
Striders
looking for
being lava
community
boats,
feedback
but
to make sure
Yeah.
this,
instead of it being like a
feels
radio
great for
sensor or
everyone.
something, it's like
Absolutely.
an
And
organic
I think
also
thing.
because
like
this is such a unique
weird
mechanic, we
noises.
really
So
wanna
it's
make sure that we
wireless
get it
redstone,
right,
but it's
and,
not
you know,
silent.
We love the
Yeah.
redstone community, and we want to make
Imagine
sure
every time
that
you
we do it
turn- you
right. So
pointed your
any
remote at your
feedback you
TV,
have,
it kinda
any
went
ideas,
bloop, bloop, bloop.
send it to us,
Basically,
and
yeah.
we will work with you to make
That's
this the best block
incredible.
that it can be.
Oh, I love
And
that.
now we said there's another mob coming later, but I think it's time for a new mob coming to the
New
Caves and
mobs.
Cliffs update.
New mobs.
It is. And this is a very scary mob. and it lives in the deepest of the underground,
Scary
in
mobs.
the deep dark. And this is a very dark place. And the cool thing is that this mob is very well adapted to the environment. So it can't see anything. So it's the first blind mob in Minecraft.
Oh.
And that's very interesting because it gives such interesting mechanics. So instead,
Blind but scary.
it will react to vibrations, just like the sculk sensor block.
Okay, so this is probably how we get
if you
it, right?
Like very careful when you walk around in the deep dark, you might upset that
I
mob.
think that it's the
yeah, with this mob, we really wanted to make sure that
the
we
block
kind
is
of
just in the deep
recaptured
dark.
that feeling of
Yeah.
the first night of Minecraft. And like we can often forget that Minecraft can be a pretty scary game. So we wanted to make sure that we could kind of go back to that. I mean, caves can be scary. They're dark. And all I'm going to say is that when you go into the deep dark, I want to make sure that you're very quiet and watch closely for the warden.
The warden. Oh no. Oh, this is not good. Also, what is this stone texture, by the way? Hello?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it seems like the what do they call it? Skulk blocks? It's like
skulk blocks.
It's kind of like overgrowing the stone around it.
Yeah.
Oh. Oh, the light the light is not good. Oh my goodness. This is it's so atmospheric already, I'm scared.
So every time you place a torch...
Look at those candles. They're candles. It's like sea pickles, but candle style. Oh. Oh, there was like a heartbeat noise. I don't like it.
I wonder if this is like a bloom effect that happens in the biome.
Is that a player's base, or is it the base of whatever is chasing it?
No idea.
But yeah, if that's like a fabulous lighting trick, that's very cool. Oh!
Like a footstep.
What is that? What is that? He threw a snowball to distract it? Oh my goodness. Oh, I love him.
Okay.
Look at this guy. He's like something from Spirited Away.
Oh, and he's got his antler things wobble like the plants.
And you can see like the visible sound of the vibration. Oh, don't shoot him. Don't shoot him. He's too cute. Don't do it. Oh my days.
Pixlriffs is like, he's cute. And he's like, I'm going to eat your face.
It's so cool looking. It's like something from a Miyazaki film. Oh, and he's picking up speed. Oh lord, he coming. Oh boy.
I'm waiting for Pixlriff to change his tune here. This is so cute.
You've got a netherite sword. Fight it. Oh wow, that did a lot of damage. This player has
So
full
cute.
armor.
Run away.
Full armor, and it did like. That's probably not even enchanted armor, but oh, B-Dogs, I'm sorry. Man, that looks intense. Heck yes.
Very different mob. I'm really excited for this because
really different.
Not only is it trying to be scary, it's we had to keep a balance to it. It was very challenging to design a mob
Aesthetically,
like this.
those things look so cool,
Another
though.
thing that's really important to note is in that video, I was wearing full netherite armor.
Yeah.
So it's
Full
very
netherite.
powerful. You
Wow.
definitely want to watch out. Yeah.
6 hearts,
Which I
like
think
6
also
and a
such
half,
an
probably.
Interesting gameplay, because if you want to, you can avoid it, but then you need to really be careful, like sneak all the time to not make any kind of movement that it will detect. But that's a lot of fun, and it's like feels scary.
So
It
the
feels
reason,
like you can't outrun it either.
yeah, and the reason to go down there is to get the sensors for redstone stuff, right? So it's a valuable resource, but not like diamonds or a new ore or something.
Minecraft. Like, it was terrifying listening to zombies underneath my house and in the caves, and hopefully we can bring that back to players, but 10 years later.
Yeah, but that would be just amazing because you hear so
Someone's
many
in the chat
lovely
asking about
first-night
drops.
stories.
I
It's
wonder
such
if
a
that
big
thing in
thing,
its
and
chest
I was very
might
fond of my
be
first
something
night in
else that
Minecraft,
gets
so
dropped.
It looked like a kind of glowing heart.
experience again.
So yeah, that could be interesting. I wonder if maybe it also drops something related to that block so it can become renewable.
Also really, really terrifying. How did
But
you
the next Tango minigame, yeah, is going to be a little bit intense. Oh, we got more info.
We wanted to be very scary, and we didn't want to take away from the scariness.
Friends with bunnies.
But we felt, let's add some derpiness to it.
Yes.
Just like a mix. So, for example, we added the mouth.
That's
I love
ignore
the
that
mouth.
subtitle.
And some actually reacted like, oh, it's so
Oh, boy.
cute, which I think it's more scary.
It is
but
cute.
I think we find like the perfect balance.
Yeah, absolutely.
It really has
Amazing.
character.
Oh boy.
Yes, definitely. Well, you've been sitting up here. You just announced an update that everyone has been waiting for, and we actually have some tweets that have come in.
Hey, there's a few of our friends.
Okay, that's amazing to see. So much excitement. Oh, even more tweets. So, it's lovely. It's like we really developed this game together with the community, and now to see that people are so happy.
Yeah, it must be really emotional for them as well, having
it's such a privilege to
worked on
a
this in
game
isolation
like
and
this
everything.
an update like
Like,
this, and
you can tell that Agnes is like just a little bit overcome with it all.
Thank you so much, Agnes and Brandon. That was a lot of amazing new things. Don't forget that we have another segment full of even more cave updates later on in the show.
But what about cliffs?
Now let's head over to
This is caves and cliffs. Where are the cliffs?
Correspondent Vubui.
I feel like that might be how they're dividing it, right?
First look at something you all voted.
Sorry, say again, Joel.
So that might be how they're dividing it. You know.
Yeah.
Caves now, cliffs later.
Yeah, but they did say more cave updates later as well. So. Okay, Vubui is here, which means it's the mob vote. Yeah.
Mob vote. Yeah.
I love the warden so much, Joel. I want one. I will name him Fred, and he will be my friend.
Fred the Warden.
Fred
plushie.
the Warden, absolutely. Oh, plushies.
Yeah.
I would buy a plushie of that in a heartbeat. No pun intended. Max, I have your book.
Thank you so
They sent me the book as well as the
book.
glass.
And I hope you enjoy the sequel, Minecraft: The Mountain.
Oh,
where our
he's bringing out a new
character
book.
leaves the island
That's exciting.
and paddles to a strange snow-covered world and discovers another castaway. And together, the two of them have to find their way home.
The Stephen Alex story.
Minecraft: The Mountain, coming out in 2021, available for pre-order right now.
Oh, right
and
now.
As always, thank you for embracing all Minecraft books.
Yay!
That sounds awesome.
So Max Brooks was the author of World War Z and the Zombie Survival Guide. And I haven't read the full book yet, but Minecraft the Island is actually really good.
Nice.
As a translation of the Minecraft experience into a novel, it's pretty good.
Your vote is bringing to Minecraft on the cliff side of the Caves and Cliffs update.
Goats!
Goats.
Hey!
They're both
There they are.
mischievous and adorable.
And they jump.
At the same time. As you can see, they live on the mountains.
They jump so
and if
high.
you aren't careful, they might knock
and
you
they
off.
headbutt.
They do.
cows.
They do
Also
headbutt
have
stuff.
Excellent jumping skills.
Incredible.
We'll also get better mountain generation with spectacular and more dramatic mountains.
There's going to be some
with
chunk trimming on the
height-dependent
sizzle, I can tell you that.
That means things like tree lines and
Nice.
mountaintops that will be more challenging with lots of snow and ice. And speaking of snow, yes, it will be snowier. We will also have a new block called powder snow. Which
Okay.
will be a kind of trap block. It
Powder
looks
snow.
similar to snow, but if you or a mob walk on it, you will fall right through. Now let's talk about
so
this
kind of
year's
an answer
vote.
to that double
We have
trapdoor
3
thing that we all have to do
awesome
right now.
mobs
Yes.
for you to choose from. And to introduce them, we once again have Tiny Agnes and Tiny Jens. Let's see what they have to show.
Okay, so this is all the stuff we've seen before, so I'm going to roll this down for a second. Those mountains, the screenshots looked really, really nice.
Right, Agnes? Yeah, I agree.
These friendly cows live in the flower
I'm still just reeling from the warden, to be honest with you, but
covered in beautiful flowers.
Yeah, it's one of those things where
What's
like
not about these
I want to know
beautiful
more about it, but I guess that's what they're going to be rolling out in the snapshots leading up to
Agnes?
whenever this update will be coming.
Why do we have to record these videos on an actual mountain?
I do. Unfortunately, they didn't say much in these little animated things, but they are really cute.
It's a new illager that lives on mountain tops. It's a hostile mob that attacks you with clouds of flying ice.
You did pack the supplies we need to survive the night up here, right, Jens? Do you ever wish Minecraft's oceans were glowier?
Not me. I always wish for world peace.
So the Minecraft Twitter account is currently retweeting all of these, or reposting all of them, and
What was I meant to say again?
apparently the mob vote starts in just a few minutes' time, so get your clicking fingers ready.
Can't talk, must admire glow.
Agnes,
Show some hype in the chat for whoever you're voting for. Let's get this started.
So tiny, and they're so susceptible to distraction. Hopefully that won't happen to you. Now let's go over how...
Oh, the royal phone is
Hello?
ringing.
Oh, hi, Tiny Agnes. Yeah, no, I'm live right now.
The Charlie Brown
you
teacher
really
wobble
shouldn't read
on
too
the
many
phone.
internet comments. But okay, I'll tell him. Okay, bye.
Still going, and he hangs up.
Tiny Agnes would like everyone to know that she and Tiny Jens are, in fact, good friends. Okay, where was I? And why do people keep leaving phones around the studio? Now, let's go over how you can be a part of what is likely to be an epic showdown. Don't let this decision be made without your voice. Be ready to cast your votes.
There it is.
Make sure you have a Twitter account. If you don't, go to twitter.com, sign up for an account, and make sure you're logged in.
Set one up now.
I'll let you know when the voting starts. Then you'll need to go to the Minecraft Twitter account to find the latest poll. Think carefully, debate with your friends and family, make a decision, then click.
Think
on the
carefully,
mob
but vote
you
right
want
now.
to make it into Minecraft. There will be 2 voting
Isn't that how it
sessions,
usually
and
happens?
I'll let you know when
Yeah,
each
yeah,
one
yeah.
begins. For now, just be ready and keep dreaming of victory for your favorite mob.
Be ready. Not the bees! Adventures in Minecraft Earth. Okay, Minecraft Earth segment.
My name is Yesenia Cisneros, and I'm the gameplay producer from Minecraft Earth. I'm so excited to be a part of Minecraft Live this year and
Poll
to
in the
share
chat.
this wonderful
Choose a
experience
mob.
with you, our amazing community.
This is not the official
poll.
poll.
It's been so fun seeing what you've been doing with the game. I've seen lots of creation shared each
Cosmic
week,
Dancer
and I
is
wish
ready.
I were that creative. I mean, wow. While everyone has been
I'm seeing
discovering
lots
new
of ice.
hobbies, I have been logging in each day to
a
collect a
couple of
new
glow
adventure
squids.
crystal, which lets me play
I'm
life
surprised by the
adventures
support
in
for the glow
augmented
squid, to be
reality
honest, but
in
yeah.
various parts of my home. My dogs are very confused, to say the least. It seems like I'm not the only one who's been going on lots of adventures. We've had more than 5 million adventures played throughout early access. Holy moobloom, that is amazing.
I think it's really cool what they've been doing with Minecraft Earth to make it more accessible to people who have to stay at home right now. And I haven't been playing it at home, but obviously anyone who was really excited for it beforehand would have been kind of heartbroken that they basically had to stay indoors and couldn't go out and access adventures. But now it's possible to get adventure crystals, which allow you to play the adventures at home. You can spawn them in anywhere, so that's a very considerate thing of them to do, and obviously, you know, kind of saves the concept of the app, considering that most people wouldn't be able to go out and play right now.
How cool is that?
Yeah.
Now, I'm not going to tell you who you should vote for, but what I am saying is one of these mobs is definitely way more adorable than the rest. So,
And
choose
it's
wisely.
the Isolager.
Yeah.
In our last
I think the
couple
Isolager's
releases,
cute.
You may have noticed that we
Jeez.
added slime ball and slime blocks. With
I'm not
that,
gonna tell you who to vote for,
super
but I'm gonna
excited
tell
let
you
you
to vote
know
for.
that we are adding pistons and sticky pistons to Minecraft Earth.
Oh, here we go.
Black sheep, ice.
Be on
There
the
we go.
lookout next week for a content update.
I need you to be on
and
my
I can't
side.
wait to see the awesome
Ginger
creations
Lily,
that
yes,
you make
adorable
with
ice.
blocks,
They are adding
items,
technical
and
blocks
outfits and
in,
contraptions.
so like sticky pistons and stuff. It's obviously still going to be Bedrock Edition mechanics, but that's kind of huge if you want to make more technical stuff in Minecraft Earth. That's very, very cool.
My name's Mumbo. This is my
It's
friend
Mumbo.
Grian, and this
And
is
Grian.
a
And Grian.
1974 VW bus.
Oh, they go
There's
camping
no
together?
Air conditioning. There's no heating. There's no radio.
Oh, bless them.
There's no anti-locking brakes. No power steering. I've owned it for about 4 years, and to be frankly honest, it's pants. Times were definitely different in the 1970s, so it's ridiculously slow, and it's definitely lacking
People
some of the
just
modern
passing right
comforts
by.
you would usually expect to find in a car
Green's
these
wearing a
days.
helmet.
We are embarking on a grand tour of England.
Oh, wow.
Going from the south coast up to Wales, and it's going to take us 3 whole days.
This is
I'll be honest,
ambitious.
Grian, mate. Would you class that as a grand tour?
Well, yes, we have no radio, so it's going to feel a lot longer.
But you see, this isn't a regular road trip in a rubbish old van. This is a Minecraft Earth road trip in a rubbish old van. With Minecraft Earth being a game you can play on the move, we thought we would travel to a bunch of different
It's
locations
like watching
in the
Big.
UK. Some of them are iconic, some
The
of them
height
just
difference
feel
between the
very
two of them.
Minecrafty, and some of them are barely
Mumbo
linked
is
to
very
Minecraft at
tall.
all, but we just
Yeah.
really
He's like,
wanted
what,
to go
6'4"?
to
I've met him in
so
real
we-
life. He is 6'5", and
Is he 6'5"? Wow.
I'm 6 foot, and he feels a foot taller than me.
Yeah.
Earth with real life. Minecraft Earth Frisbee is a bit of a challenge. Sorry. Minecraft Earth Badminton can be quite dangerous to onlookers.
Sorry, John.
Nope.
And real-life sand blocks are alarmingly difficult to construct.
If I just film this angle, there we go. Look, it's our sand block.
All in all, though,
This is such a great
road trip was
concept of a
huge
video about
success and we
Minecraft
had a
Earth,
lot
though.
of fun. You can expect to see the
I love that
full-length
the sand in the
episodes
UK is
on
mostly
our
gravel.
channels very, very
It
soon.
is on Brighton Beach. It's all pebbles.
Yeah.
Wow, it looks like Mumbo Jumbo and Grian had quite the Minecraft Earth adventures. At Mojang Studios, we've also been making more original content than ever before on our Minecraft YouTube channel. Our goal is to create shows that give you inside knowledge directly from our team. We're even giving away all of our
Inside
secrets
knowledge
in a
with
new series called
a lot of
Howling
overly
Peaks,
cute graphics
which
and
honestly feels sort of
fluff,
risky.
but
And
it's
guess
good.
What? We have lots more awesome Minecraft content on the way. Here's a look at what shows you'll find on our channel.
Here's 10 things you didn't know about
Yo to the yo-yo. My name is Jens, I'm here.
Someone did like a remix of Jens.
I think that was Jens remixing himself.
Oh, maybe.
How can Steve punch cactus without getting hurt?
I know cactus has.
I really like the Ask Mojang videos, though. Like the devs
Yeah.
actually giving their answers to these often hard-hitting questions is super fun.
Please like and subscribe. I've always wanted to say that. But really, you should. It's good stuff. In 2017, you voted for the terror that is the Phantom, and I personally have not forgiven you for that.
Nope, me
In
neither.
2018, the Taiga won your vote.
I don't know
with
why everybody hates the Phantom
fantastic
so much.
foxes. Last
They
year,
don't
it
bother
was
me.
the mountains, with our soon-to-be friends, the goats.
I just sleep.
What will you, the Minecraft community,
Like a regular, like a
do
good
this
Minecraft
year?
player.
I sleep all the time
Let's
as well.
review our choices
Yeah.
once more. I was inspired
So,
by some of the amazing
talking about
handcrafted
Smash
things
again
I've seen
briefly
made
because
by
we
our
mentioned
community.
sleeping. There is a Jigglypuff, which is a. I know you're not really into Pokemon, Joel. It's a Pokemon
I've heard it though.
it's a Pokemon that can put you to sleep, basically, and it's a it's a character in Smash that can put other players to sleep. When it puts the Steve or any of the Minecraft characters to sleep, a bed appears and they sleep in the bed. It's not just like they're kind of drowsy and slumped over; like they actually go to sleep in a bed. It's such a good
That's
touch.
funny.
It's really funny.
Oh, and I've just googled the image. I've seen Jigglypuffs before.
Yeah,
Like,
sure.
I'm familiar with pop culture, but I wouldn't know what it was called.
And I'm pretty sure they'll be best
Be an
pals.
interesting show of my age if you start flashing Pokemons up in front of me and ask me to name them. I'm just like, I don't know.
That can make for a fun video, though. It's
Yeah,
one of those.
pink round girl.
Yeah. Just come up with catchy names for these creatures you've never seen before.
Water reptile.
Yeah.
Fire lizard.
You want to win.
Okay, looks like the poll
We'll
should
check
be
back in
live.
before we start the second and final
Poll is
poll.
live. What are we
Now,
saying? We are
I'd like to
saying.
welcome
I
Laura
don't see
to
it
my
yet.
desk to talk about the dungeoniest Minecraft game ever, Minecraft Dungeons. Hello, Laura.
I thought he said the
Thanks for
poll was
having
live.
me.
Very excited that you're here.
He might have said
So
before
what
the poll
do
was
you
live.
do
'cause
at
he's still
Mojang
talking to somebody.
Studios?
I am a game designer, which means I am the one that gets to decide how difficult the bosses are.
This is a Minecraft
So I'm
Dungeons
sorry
segment, so I'm
about
going to
that
roll up
one.
the volume.
You can blame me for
Next
that.
once more.
I think people will blame you for that.
That's okay.
While I have you here on the stage, which mob are you voting for?
Vote.
I think if I don't say I am voting for the Axolotl, my team will kill me. So, but it's an amazing mob. It brings a lot of fun to dungeons, and I think it will bring a lot of fun to Minecraft as well.
Okay. I figured you would say that, but I had to ask. So tell me about the launch of Dungeons this year.
Oh wow, that was quite the ride. It was such a crazy launch. I don't think anybody in the team expected to ever release a game from home.
Good
So we
point.
were all
Hey,
sitting in
look at
this
them.
like massive Teams call
Legends.
and like sharing streams with each other and sharing videos and comments from players, and it was
Pretty successful
very
launch, too,
good.
if I
It
was-
was fun in
if I
a
was to
different
guess.
way.
Yeah,
What
yeah,
would
I'm
you say was your favorite
kind of impressed by how well they managed to cope with the launch from home, and they've done a fantastic job on that game in
together
general.
to play the game. It was very fun to see parents like show their children dungeon crawlers and children show their parents Minecraft. I don't know, it was very nice to see everyone just sit together and play and enjoy.
That sounds wonderful.
Yes.
Well, let's take a look at what the community has done with what's come out so far.
Yeah.
Cannot actually believe that we like got close to the end and it was like, nope, well, time to be blown up by more creepers. They absolutely hate you, those creepers. Oh yeah, Tom, you're welcome to join actually.
あ、待って待って、結構減った、結構減った。最後殴りに行っていい？お前、
bunch of people getting really excited about Minecraft Dungeons.
So the village merchant, a really cool merchant, simple, straightforward items, and definitely a nice addition to the game. A good replacement.
Latest
for the
update
wandering
has really
trader.
changed a lot about
Now, let's go
dungeons.
check
If you
in with our
played
friend
the
the
initial
blacksmith here.
update,
This
it
is
is way
definitely
different now.
something that I'm looking forward to
More
because
levels,
this is
the
one of
village,
the
like
coolest
camp
things
has
that
completely
possibly
changed.
come to
The daily
game.
trials are fantastic.
Calma aí, vou te ressuscitar. Calma aí, eu vou dar cover aqui. Que isso, Davizinho já tá me ressuscitando.
Oh boy, oh boy.
Hey, it's Martin.
All right, I see what's going on here. I see what's going on here.
Is his like online name Martin as well? Like I recognize him.
He is in the Littlewoods, and fun fact, he is one of the first people I ever watched play Minecraft on YouTube. He is one of the people I used to watch when I was first getting into Minecraft. So
I think I've seen him on Twitch.
Yeah, he plays Fortnite and stuff as well, but he's
okay.
Yeah, definitely an old school Minecraft guy from the Yogscast.
You're a free villager.
You must find the caravan of other villagers.
Ooh, I got invisibility.
Folks in chat are saying the vote is live, and I'm seeing a poll on Minecraft's Twitter account, so let's get in here and vote.
Vote has been cast for Axolotl.
Yep, same here. Vote with your heart, folks. Choose whichever mob you feel deserves to be added to Minecraft.
Oh, look, there's a pig.
And it's going to be live for 18 minutes.
Red!
That looks so fun.
Yeah, it's so cool to see people have fun with the game.
And it's fun to play and watch.
Yes, I hope so at least.
But this week,
the poll is looking pretty even right now. There have been over 175,000 votes already.
Doing things, I feel.
And it's probably still updating.
I have to keep on refreshing. How do you
and the new daily trials, which was awesome.
Are you just hitting refresh all the time?
I think it's updating live. It's just taking a minute.
Mobile, which is so fun. I really like that. And
the glow squid is actually winning right now.
China, so now we get to welcome
not by much
to the community, and I am. So
I kind of wonder how many people are voting for the Moo Bloom. If it loses, will end up voting glow squid because they want a passive mob.
Yeah, that's what we saw last time too. We saw the split with the loser joining the one that was the most similar. Like no one jumped from was it mountains, swamp, and what was the other biome?
I can't remember. Was it Badlands, desert? There was one of them that was
Maybe it was the desert. But no one piled on to the other ones. They all went to mountains. Like it was no one went to the swamp.
Like I was very confused.
I'm really surprised that the Moo Bloom is losing this badly. I really expected it to sweep.
And having little snippets of things everywhere.
I think the glow squid has that tease of a light source.
Yeah, probably. I really hope they add a light source to it if that's what people are expecting.
Right, and not just glowstone.
Right.
Yeah, or not anything. It could just be like a funky-looking squid.
We're gonna talk about our upcoming DLC that we prepared with our friends at 11, and that's called the Howling Peaks.
Oh, okay. This is new Minecraft Dungeons DLC right now.
Yeah,
Howling Peaks.
Howling Peaks.
Yeah.
Why don't we take a look at some live gameplay?
Yeah, let's check it out.
Show us the gameplay. Let's do it.
We are very lucky today that we have 4 members of the Dungeons team with us. Here's Mariana at the Nintendo Switch. Hello. Here's Chris at the PC.
Oh, are they doing
Here's
crossplay?
David at the PlayStation 4.
Yes.
And at the Xbox One, we have Annika.
Oh,
so
exciting.
We get to show you here for the first time crossplay, which we're very excited about.
Hey, well done.
That's exciting.
And
that's very good.
Our first look at the mountains biome. Coming to dungeons.
Already I see a goat right there.
Oh, the goats are in it too.
Yeah,
nice.
we were so happy.
That's so good.
We asked the Minecraft team if we could bring goats to dungeons, and they said yes. So we get to release them a bit first in dungeons.
So depending on when the Caves and Cliffs update comes out, yeah, it seems like goats will actually be in dungeons first.
I see a lot of wind coming out of these grates.
Yes. Wind is a mechanic that we're going to explore a lot in the mountains missions.
It's like pushing them all back towards the cliff.
The players will be both challenged by it and will be able to use it. So the wind will push the player, so you need to be a bit careful. But at the same time, you'll be able to use it to solve puzzles, push items, and open
I wonder if they'll
doors
end
and
up
stuff
bringing
like
some of
that.
the
So,
cave stuff into Minecraft Dungeons as well.
Yeah, maybe. Those
Right,
lush
so,
caves would look great as a
our
dungeons
mountains
level.
biomes are
Yeah,
so tall
for sure.
that the player
Also,
will need to
Axolotl and
find new
Glow Squid are
ways to
currently
traverse
tied
the
on the
levels.
poll. There have been
So
over
that's
400,000
and
votes.
There's gonna be full
Wow.
of like these little contraptions all around.
Come on, Axolotl.
I need to go back and see how many people voted in the last Minecon. I don't recall it being that many, but maybe it's been... Yeah, it's been a while, and I was in Spain, so I can't quite remember how it went. I think I was voting on a beach in Valencia at the time.
That's very important.
With some very unreliable 4G.
The archaeologers that you can find in this mission and in all the mountains missions are very ready
I
for the
love what
weather.
they do
So
in
they are wearing their little
Minecraft
cozy
Dungeons
clothes,
with the
and they're
grass
wind resistant,
coming through
which
the
means
snow
that
or
while
coming
the
through
Yeah.
the sand.
challenged by the wind,
And there are
the
actually being
archaeologers
different
want
layers
over
of it
this.
like that. It's very,
These are
very
Yeah.
fun.
mobs called
Ravagers!
wind
Oh my
crawlers,
gosh,
and
there's a Ravager.
coming for the
Oh,
first
wow.
time to
Wow.
Minecraft Dungeons. That's another
And another
Minecraft
type of
mod
illager over
that we
there.
get to welcome.
When are we going to add that
They're
guy?
quite sturdy.
Did he like charge at them with a wind attack or something
Right,
there?
the
That was
wind
really
crawlers,
cool looking.
Spawn,
No, there's wind in
draft
the
wind
sides.
right
See
under
the
player,
white
and
lines?
they
Yeah,
push
yeah, but I think
player up,
the
so the player gets
the
fall
illager
damage.
kind of zoomed towards them at one point. He has a bit of a turn
Oh,
of
there was an
speed on.
illager.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, there he is. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
They're gonna be painful.
He doesn't seem affected by the wind at all.
Well, they're doing a pretty good job against these wind crawlers.
Yes.
I love that this is actual live gameplay as well. It's not like rehearsed or
Yeah.
anything. That's great.
Ooh.
3 Ravagers.
Wow.
Yeah, that's gonna
It's a
be
whirlwind.
an interesting one.
Not sure I can
I
take on
wonder-
3 Ravagers without weapons,
I can
Joel.
see that all the consoles are working very neatly together. We're super
Yeah,
happy
there's
about
a mob you don't
that.
want to get that
It's been
close to, right?
progressing very
Yeah.
nicely, and we hope everyone
Not
gets
really
to
one to fight
live
barefisted.
together. Oh, that was an Axolotl.
What
I
did they
wanted
say
to
what the
like,
wind illager
that's
was
my
called?
favorite mob, but,
They might
you
have
know,
done. I
it
think
went
I may have
too
missed it.
fast.
Too long.
Yes.
All right, we're leading up to this big Ravager battle.
Yes. But I think
Windologer, maybe? I don't know.
let our adventurers
Oh
deal
no!
with the
Got thrown
Ravagers.
in the pit.
Not
I'm
very
used to those
well.
strategies. That's so great.
So
They decided to cut away from the gameplay because people were dying.
a new game mode coming.
Yeah, the game mode is called
555,000
It's gonna be
votes.
for all the players
New
for
game
free,
mode?
and that's called Apocalypse Plus.
Apocalypse Plus
which
game
means that
mode.
we're making the game just, you know, harder a bit at a time. Yeah.
When you
we're
call
excited.
something apocalypse, it sounds very hard.
Yeah, and Apocalypse Plus means that it gets even harder. So hopefully players get to find new
I feel like we've all
challenges
been
and
playing
ways
2020 on
to
Apocalypse Plus.
tweak the balance.
Can I just say?
Different every time.
But okay, that's a lot of stuff.
Iceologer
You're
is
working on
officially
even more
in.
new
Oh no,
things for
that's
dungeons.
35.
We're
Never mind. I
working
thought it was in the
on
lead.
a ton of stuff. I feel we've been so
Glow Squid is
busy. It's
1%
crazy.
ahead.
But yeah, we have today a little video with a lot of work in progress. Work in progress, though.
Very work in
yes. But yeah, I think we should look at the video.
Wait, that's my line.
I'm sorry.
Stealing the hosting duties. Wow.
Yeah.
Look at this environment design. Red grass. That looks so nice.
Yeah.
And I love those
Oh,
blocks
the gold
too.
trim.
Oh, it's
Something I wish we could do in Minecraft is what they do in Minecraft Dungeons when they rotate blocks.
yeah, with just rotating the texture around a little bit.
No, like
Or-
just.
oh,
when they-
you mean like
when they
having moving parts in
actu-
it, like a
Yeah, like
like a-
being able to actually turn something.
like a capstan or a crank kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, because everything's still blocky. It still looks like Minecraft. It just looks so much more alive.
It's a
when
lot
it's
of
moving.
a lot of lava going on in the background of that.
Yeah, and this looks like the new plant that we just saw from Cave Update.
Maybe.
Is this underwater?
Oh, so this is not the Howling Peaks thing. This is something completely. There are underwater levels, and you're just wandering around them, I guess, because why wouldn't? Interesting.
Yeah.
There's like a little dash because you can't really roll. You just sort of.
Yeah.
Oh, it is.
swim
Wait a
forward.
second. Is this? Oh.
Is the end.
That's the end. Oh, baby. Bring it. And the Archaeology looked like he was back there as well, so
And
that's...
the Nether? Did we already have a Nether?
No, not at all. There is a Nether portal in the camp after you beat the main game, but...
Yeah.
Oh, heck yes.
One of my
So
favorite
Nether
things
and the
we
end
do at
coming.
Mojang Studios
Very
is
cool.
Very
Minecraft
cool.
That looks
Education
great.
Edition.
So that's like basically 4 updates confirmed right there. There was an ocean one, the Nether, the end, and then Howling Peaks is going to be the
First one.
the most recent, like the one that's coming
countries
next.
around
Yeah.
the world are able
Yeah.
to collaborate, learn, and share together. Minecraft has always been a way to connect people, and we've seen that now more than ever with Minecraft Education Edition. Being
Thank you,
used
Liara,
for
for dropping a link in the chat. If anybody hasn't voted in the most recent poll, Isology looks like it's a very close second right now, so the Moo Bloom is probably going out, unless there's a real rally of support for the Moo Bloom.
We've seen students
600,000 votes so far.
in incredible ways. Today, we're launching our first ever Minecraft Education Edition Global Challenge for students around the world to build a better world with us.
This is interesting.
Over the past few months,
yeah.
we've seen wildlife roam through cities.
Global
while
Build
humans stayed
Championship.
inside. Without cruise ships and ferries around, dolphins visited the port of Cagliari in Sardinia, Italy, and wild boar roamed the streets of Barcelona. But what if animals could share space with humans all the time? Today, we're kicking off the first ever Minecraft Education Global Build Championship and asking students around the world to design and build healthy spaces for humans and animals to coexist together.
This is genuinely really awesome.
Hey, I'm Ayana. I'm a developer in the Minecraft team. If I were to participate in the Global Build Challenge, I'd build a series of underwater tubes so we could transport things without disturbing the aquatic life.
Hello everyone, I'm OMG
Chad.
And if I were to design a build for the Global Championship, I would make a house with a habitat for my cats on top. And I would
Of course
call
you
it
would, Chad. Of course you would.
どうもこんにちはカーボンです。僕だったら日本っぽい建築で勝負したい。
I think they were maybe talking about wild animals, but
I mean, all animals. And cats are just kind of wild anyway. They just allow us to live with them.
I'm seeing a tweet from a friend of the show, Whip, saying, "Imagine glow squids in underwater caves. We need it." So now we know where friend, quote unquote, of the show, Whip, lands in terms of the Isologer versus the glow squid.
I know, he is very much Team Glow.
And download the championship world template. We can't wait to see your amazing ideas.
I would like to see the glow squid implemented if it had some sort of dynamic lighting, but considering that isn't part of the traditional Minecraft engine, the vanilla Minecraft engine,
yeah,
you know, maybe if they can add it with fabulous graphics, see how many people that's going to affect.
We've also been working with some amazing educators on a
I wish
new
they would give
series
us more
about
information.
diversity and
Like
inclusion
they really
coming
haven't
this
given us
fall.
any more than what they've given in the videos and the summary that we read on the show last week. Like we've not received any other information, and yet we're still voting on them. So it's just basically hunches, right?
Yeah. It's largely based on speculation right now, but
identity and tolerance. The first of these
I think I'll turn this up because we need to hear this.
And it's based on the life and philosophy of Congressman and civil rights activist John Lewis. The additional lessons continue teaching about social justice from across the world and through time, from Black Lives Matter to Malala's quest in Pakistan to achieve equal education for girls, to the civil rights movement of 1960s America, to the women's suffragette movement, and more. We can't wait to share these important lessons with the Minecraft community.
I'm looking forward to playing.
That sounds like a super cool project. One of the people I want to get on the spawn chunks at some point is a Minecraft educator called Stephen Reed, who goes by Immersive Mind, and he's a really busy dude. But I want to get in touch with him to talk about a couple of projects he did a while ago that were educating people about refugees and like what it was like to be trafficked and stuff. Like there's some really hard-hitting subject matter that he's managed to cover and make accessible to people through Minecraft so they can learn about that stuff.
Nice.
And it's you know, it's really valuable stuff in a way.
For how we can help create a more inclusive world. Now it's time for a brand new segment of our show. You may have missed our next guest during the Minecraft update segment, but not to worry. You're about to get some dedicated time with the one and only Jeb. Hello.
Oh, there he is.
Thank you very much.
Just spawned in.
It was very different not having you in the
I like how they've got
update
builders and biomes on the table.
Yes, yes, it's a little bit different this year since we always want the ones that are actually working on the features of the games to be the ones to get to talk about them, because we feel that it gets more genuine in that way.
So what are you working on then?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Builders and biomes expansion on the table?
Of course, I still spend a lot of time with Vanilla and Agnes and the team, but I now work with all our projects, all our games, and like the board games. And
he's very keen on board games. We know this from the trailers for the mod vote.
To
Man after my own
show the
heart,
Minecraft
once again.
feeling and make them fit together. But honestly, everyone's so talented, so it's actually quite an easy job. But to help everyone, both in Stockholm and in Redmond, I wrote a book.
This is not the book, this is a mask.
Design book.
Are you trying to sell that to everyone in the audience watching?
No, this is only for Mojang Studios employees. It contains a lot of secrets.
Oh, he's got the Bible.
But, it was helpful when the team
Bible
to kind of explain my thoughts and ideas about Minecraft. And for vanilla particular, there are some guiding principles that are going to help us continue updating the game for many years to come.
But you did decide to share some today, so people can kind of see what's in.
This is really cool. He's going to share some of his development ideas and philosophies about how the game goes.
It maybe sounds obvious, but that is it's always one block at a time. You place one block, you remove one block, you pull one lever, and you trigger one TNT, and of course that causes a big explosion. But at the core, the interaction is always one block at a time. And it's not only important for the way you play the game, but it's also if you're playing together with someone, let's say you're building a house or something, then I will be able to observe what you're doing and quickly understand where you're going, and then I can help you, and every block counts. If you would just copy paste or make templates and such, then it would be a little bit harder to collaborate. And also Minecraft is a lot about the journey to create your massive castle or whatever. But so it's important to we retain that feeling.
And you have another principle, but it applies pretty directly to a community question that we have.
Oh, more questions about natural disasters.
Yeah, I think we've had this covered in previous years, but it's always, there are new people coming into the community all the time, and I imagine that it'll be interesting for some people to hear this.
Wow, yes.
The Chinese community inspired me to
good Chinese practice
take on a new
there.
language, but I have a long way to go, honestly. But about the question, if we're going to add things like natural disasters, that kind of contradicts one of our other guiding principles, that bad things happen, but they're technically the player's fault.
Okay, they're the player's fault.
Yes. There you go. So if something happens to your world, it's your fault, chat.
Your fault.
Or summoning in the wither, or a player was nearby, such as when a creeper explodes. So whenever something bad happens, we want to make sure that the players are either actively taking part of that or have a way to prevent it from happening. And an earthquake or a tornado would obviously destroy something that you've spent hours building.
But there's definitely a few I can think of that maybe fall outside of this principle.
There are still a few cases, like Endermen can grab a block and maybe wreck up some.
But that is one block at a time, like you said earlier.
Unlucky wolf running into your sheep
It's
garden.
funny, I forget that they can do it because we have that
but
disabled
there's also
on
the worst thing is, of course, lightning
Yeah.
strikes that can set your whole house on fire. But I'm hoping that Agnes and the team may have a plan for that.
Oh, hello.
Exciting.
Jeb just teased the fact that we might be getting lightning rods or something, I guess.
In developing.
Yes, the last feature I did was the netherite feature. I thought that was a very important part of the Nether update, and wanted to help where I can. But I don't want to. Since I'm working with so many different projects now, I don't want to do something halfways and then kind of leave it to the team to fix my bugs. So I try to be a little bit hands off. But recently, I've of course also been working a little bit on making combat test snapshots.
All right.
Oh, here we go.
That leads us to another community question.
Hey, I'm Dan TDM, and I would love to know what kind of combat mechanic changes are being made to Minecraft Java Edition.
Yes, and that's an excellent question. We currently have a problem that on the 2 different editions of the game, there are different combat mechanics or combat systems. And that's bad both for us as designers that have to take both systems into account, but also bad for the community that wants to have the same experience. So the main objective is to reach parity. But I still want to make sure that we make a system that is kind of fits with the building and that doesn't distract too much from building, but still gives us this depth that allows us to design interesting behaviors. Also, I want to make sure that it works both good in both player versus environment. That means adventuring and players versus player. And I want to make sure that it feels good playing both with mouse and keyboard. And when you're on a controller, you don't get tired by frequently pressing the trigger. And we also want to improve touch, like the touch experience. So it's a lot to do.
But you said you weren't working on feature development. But
yeah, it's
you
true.
are working on combat?
Yes, I mean, of course, it's a little bit hard to keep your hand out of the feature cookie jar.
They've got like a concept sketch for this.
This was an area where I could help.
That's so funny.
The team, so they could focus on doing.
Does that mean cookie jars are going to be a thing in 1.17? We will see.
No idea.
In the future, I will, of course, dump this on the team.
Okay, so exactly what you said.
By the way, folks, we have confirmation that the poll is now closed. Glow Squid 1, Isologist 2nd, Moo Bloom 3rd. So if this follows the pattern they have had in previous years, there will be a second vote between the Isologist and the Glow Squid. So either of those still have a chance to win.
That is so amazing. And
I doubt that the people from the Moo Bloom are going to swing Isologist.
I have that feeling as well.
Just in this case, Sakurai-san and his team they really understand Minecraft and have made an absolutely amazing Super Smash Brothers fighter.
And Sakurai has also made a really amazing video.
Oh, here we go. This is Smash content for you.
マインクラフトライブをご覧の皆さん、こんにちは。大乱闘スマッシュブラザーズディレクター、空の桜井正宏です。スマブラにマインクラフトのダウンロードコンテンツが導入されます。スティーブやアレックスが参戦することが決定し、マインクラフトライブ前に特別放送をお届けしたのですが、見ていただけたでしょうか。もしまだの方はぜひご覧ください。スマブラであることを忘れるぐらい、マインクラフトのスピンオフとしても相当にすごい踏み込んだ表現を行っています。
There are some really interesting mechanics around mining for resources and crafting in this, but it's still a really cool fighting game, you know? It's very, very fun.
I mean, I've heard of it, of course, but I've never played it.
有名キャラクターとの共演が楽しめます。
And it's funny, like, even when I was into console gaming, like, I never really understood or got on board with the crossover games.
Yeah.
You know, like having Mario and Final Fantasy and
really big
Kirby and like, it's like, okay.
Yes.
Like, just,
and
I always checked out.
It was a really hard secret to keep even in the studio because it was super secret. But it has been so much fun to work on.
Yeah, it's amazing to see the community reaction.
Yes.
He's got a really cool shirt.
Okay, so we're going to
I do like his shirt,
here.
Yeah.
You have a sort of famous saying within the office, which is the world would be a better place if everyone played Minecraft. And why do you think that?
Yeah, I suppose the quote has kind of gotten a life of its own.
It definitely has.
But yes, I think Minecraft unleashes people's creativity and helps them collaborate, but also teaches them things like geometry, languages, and maths. So yes, I do think that the world would be a better place if everyone played Minecraft. But I know that you also are very engaged in building a better world.
You're interviewing me now, Jens. Thanks. I mean, I think I feel so privileged to work on Minecraft because of all the amazing things that people do with it, from Education Edition, and something I'm extremely passionate about is Block by Block, which is our partnership with UN Habitat, and it's really helping people reimagine their public space and then have it built.
think we covered a story about this once.
I love this place. It's
South
such a nice
Africa.
area.
Didn't they use like
But
Minecraft
it has
to
not always been
redesign a park or something?
Yeah, they've definitely worked with school communities and stuff in a lot of different places. And using Minecraft to visualize changes in the community is kind of what Block by Block is all about.
It was just an abandoned place.
Block by Block is a program created by Mojang and UN Habitat where we use Minecraft to help community members redesign their neighborhoods. Kosovo has been impacted by years of conflict, and in those situations, we often see communities divided and public spaces neglected.
It was a really cool project because even the little kids like me could help out with make the city a better place.
They got to use
It's really
Minecraft
cool when you
to
think about
sketch
most of
and
those
try
civic
different
decisions
solutions
being
about how
made
the
by a
space
bunch of
could be
adults
improved.
that don't actually use the parks, you know?
Yeah.
To be able to help the city while just playing.
After that, the ideas were presented to local architects and city planners, and later that year, construction started.
It's been 5 years since we participated in the program, and the street since then has become more developed and it is now more frequented than before. It seemed kind of unbelievable that this was made with Minecraft.
So seeing
Nice.
my own idea as a kid, changing a whole area in my city.
It's really interesting how, murals and stuff can't really be represented in such detail in Minecraft, but they put a bunch of
Right.
colorful wall blocks up and it just gives people the idea of like, okay,
Yeah.
so graffiti art and like
Yeah.
mural stuff and street art just being
Street art, yeah.
the kind of like soul of the community that way.
Yeah.
What's going to happen in that community. So this is a perfect example. The community was asked, the community decided, the community designed, and the community is using it.
I'm probably going to be like,
I like how
really
many young
happy
women
and be
are
like,
part of this, too.
Hey friends,
Yeah.
I made this. I walk here almost every day, and every time I see it and I see a lot of people spending time here, it's a very gratifying feeling.
I just hope it will
You can tell some of this was recorded recently because everyone's wearing masks and
So
stuff.
the reaction of the community
Yeah.
was great.
Good on them.
And to me, it was a great feeling, which I'll never forget.
I came up with a skate park idea and some trees surrounding the park.
It is possible to change the world and make your dreams come true.
It felt like I was being heard, and being heard and listened to is one of the best feelings that you can feel.
Nice.
That's cool.
I actually
What a project.
was able to go to Kosovo at the start of that project, and it's just amazing to see the transformation using Minecraft.
Yeah, it's amazing. Yes.
Jens, you must have seen a lot of amazing things because you're about to hit your 10-year anniversary at Mojang Studios in like 2 or 3 months.
Yes, it's true. Yeah, it has been an amazing journey these 10 years, and I have had so much fun working on Minecraft. But of course, I'm also a Minecraft player, and we're all like with the community. And in the end, it's really the players and the community that gives everything its purpose.
Yeah, absolutely. And from myself as part of the community, I just want to say, like, thank you for the 10 years and all that you've done for Minecraft. It's made
Thank
a
you,
huge
Jeb.
difference in my life, and I think
It's
many
really
people
cool.
watching
It's
right
nice when you can get that 10-year mark at a company.
Thank
That
you
really
so much,
speaks to like
Jens.
how both the company
Last
and
year at Live, we
Jens
announced a
are
Nether
like
update.
really
Since then,
synonymous,
we've
you
been
know?
wondering
Yes.
about
Everybody
what it would
spam
be like
thank
to
you, Jeb, in
attend
the chat.
Nether Ballet. Wonder no more. Our friends at Element Animation will dance us through all the new Nether features.
Oh, here we go. This is pretty adorable.
Have you seen this before?
No. I love that.
I mean, I knew they danced, but
I love that video of the when they added the Piglin victory dance to Hoglins just as like an experiment or an accident, and you got a bunch of Hoglins doing like the shuffly dance. It's so great.
I wish you could bounce off of slime and magma blocks like that.
Yeah, maybe in a future update we'll see.
Like if they only hurt you from the side and the bottom, but if you jump on the top of them, then you could just like
use them as a slime block. Yeah.
Yeah. Here's something that we don't know about a cave update. Changes to minecarts.
Yes, that could be an option, especially with mining being such an important, you know, like a use for minecarts being like, you know, chest minecarts and relaying resources around and stuff.
It's like the Nether ice capades.
It's pretty great. Oh, looks like we have another voting update.
Of the first round of voting are in.
He says first round.
The round which determined which mob's dreams would be dashed, with no hope of making it into the final round.
R.I.P. Moo Bloom.
And it was intense. But sadly, let's all say a fond farewell to the poor Moo Bloom.
Just chuck it. Oh, there it goes. Yep.
It's funny, yeah. Don't let the flower hit you on the way out.
To the Axolotl and the glow squid. And in the first round, they were quite close. I'm quite interested to see.
I wonder if we're going to get
voters
more
of the Moo Bloom
information.
will go. If you missed the first round of voting, make sure you get in on this one. It determines which one of these two makes it into Minecraft. I know who I'll be voting for. The final voting.
Look how tiny the Axolotl is.
This is your chance to have a say.
Because they did
what
the,
goes
I think,
into
the
Minecraft.
cartoon version.
So
Yeah, the
don't leave
chibi
yourself
version.
out. Log into Twitter and go vote.
Vote is live, I think.
I don't see it yet, but we will just refresh the page a couple of times.
Marketplace Partner Program.
Hey, it's Quinn.
I'm joined by two of my favorite people. How about you guys introduce yourselves?
Hi, I'm Fanny. I'm a developer on the Creator Assistance team, and what we do is create tools for our creator community.
So,
and some of them are
with
very
that Nether
visible
video, what were we supposed to see?
I think it was
there anything new?
It was more like a summary of like what came in the Nether update, and they were going through all of the biomes. There was the striders and stuff, like just kind of like all of a summary of what got added, basically.
And we've been
I recognize Jason from a couple of years ago when they were debuting add-ons as part of the Minecraft presentation here, so I think they are probably going to be talking a bit more about creator tools here,
all of our incredible marketplace partners all around the world to help make content for you.
Marketplace creators, yeah.
Yeah.
Kia ora koutou mā, ko Whete tēnei from Piki Studios here in Aotearoa, a team of 3 making content for the Marketplace and Minecraft Education Edition.
I'm Beanie from Zombini, and I run
Sorry,
a
I'm
small
not seeing the
studio
vote.
based in California.
No, me neither.
We create lots of market.
It may just have been like a heads up, the vote is coming back in a second kind of thing.
Yeah, that could be it too.
Others how to make their own Minecraft skins.
It's always hard when you've got like a live chat, a Twitter feed, you, and the audio from the feed all going at the same time.
Magandang umaga, Minecraft Live. My name is Mark from Kubo Studios, and we are 15 working here in the Philippines.
Every time they show stuff off like this and it's so global, like remembering that Minecraft is such a worldwide community is always fascinating to me. Just seeing people from all over the place representing.
Yeah.
And look at some of the builds.
A lot of stuff. Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of stuff lately just on Instagram, and you know, obviously trying to read the post and going like, whoa, okay, well it's not in English, so I don't know what's being said, but like some of the stuff is just ridiculously cool.
Yeah.
I cannot believe I'm part of Minecraft Live this year. My name is Yasser, aka StarkTMA from MC Tech Souls, and we are super excited about the new updates.
Oi, Minecraft Live. Eu sou o Gabriel, diretor da Irim Studios. A gente tem cerca de 5 participantes na nossa equipe. Somos todos brasileiros.
I wonder if they have a presentation like for the winning mob, if they once they actually know what mob is going to be in, if then they'll be able to reveal more information about it.
It may also be the case that they're waiting to hear what ideas the community has for it. If the community backed one idea so clearly, then maybe they'll listen to a bit more community feedback about why that mob should be implemented and what it should do. So, in the case of the Axolotl, they obviously have a working model for it in Minecraft Dungeons, but the Glow Squid doesn't really have much functionality in Minecraft Earth, so it will be interesting to see if basically the players can convince the Mojang team that something needs to be added for the Glow Squid to be viable in vanilla, or to add value, rather.
So what do you have to show us today?
Liara put a link to the vote in chat.
Yep, the newest poll is live.
In the game. So this time we've doubled down and gotten it so that we focused on items and blocks. So as part of that, I've made a custom crop to kind of show off a lot of the capabilities. So over the summer, everyone at Mojang Studios was given tomato seeds to try and grow a tomato plant at home. So I thought that was kind of the perfect inspiration to go make a crop.
That's cool. It's cool that they basically gave them to the employees and was like, hey, try growing these, like at home in real life. I feel like that's maybe where Doc M has got some of the inspiration from for his tomatoes.
I've made a sweet berry bush where you can just right-click on them. But I think tomatoes taste disgusting, so I thought it was better to make them as something you can throw.
That's great.
Conan and I had some fun. We were throwing them around. It's harmless.
It's like
sort of.
It's like La Tomatina.
Yeah.
Knocked you into the tomato juice at the bottom of that ravine there.
But tomatoes will actually rot on the vine as well, and if they rot for too long,
oh my goodness,
you get a little rotten tomato monster. They can
like a little mandrake kind of thing going on.
Here.
Yeah.
But yeah, he throws rotten tomatoes. They don't fly as far as a regular.
Why can't we be voting for that in the mob vote? I would absolutely go for for tomatoes and a tomato monster.
Tomato monster, yeah. Gremlins. That's what the game needs. It needs tomato gremlins.
Don't pour lava on them after midnight.
It's pretty healthy. So with all of these new custom crops, creators can go and make some really cool kind of like farming style maps.
Oh, definitely. So like
380,000 votes on the poll at the last count, and Glow Squid is winning by about 5% of the vote.
Eat the item, but or you can make projectiles. But they also have the ability to get events that are fired from things like a tick event. So as that event is fired, you can
mod makers and developers more control over.
And eventually
sounds like crops and growth.
Yeah. They said they focused more on blocks and items. So previously, where they've done stuff with mobs, where they showcased being able to add like a kind of spider hybrid creature and like adding new mobs into the game without replacing old mobs. This seems to be the same, where it's like we're not retexturing crops, we're actually allowing players to use add-ons to put more stuff into the game.
It's an example of what you can do with them combining events and commands. That's one of the features that our creators have requested for so long, just having commands to be able to run them when something happens. So now, instead of also in addition to doing it with actors, you can also do it with blocks and items. In this case, as the flower is rotting, you can disappear that crop and also summon a tomato monster, a tomo monster.
Yes. Well, that's really cool, because like I can totally see creators like using all of those combinations of features to make some like.
While we are talking about adding new stuff to the game and the mob vote, by the way, I think it's also worth pointing out that the devs have said the other two mobs from this vote are not going to be completely discarded. They are going to stay on the table for including in future. But they'll only be added if they bring significant value to the game in future. So I would honestly say that if the Glow Squid gets added, there's still a case to be made for the Iceologer to appear in Minecraft in future, because it's already got a lot of stuff that you can say is worth adding to Minecraft. Also, oh hey look, more weird spider hybrids or scorpions in this case.
Yeah, scorpions and stuff. The thing there is, it's like,
yeah, that doesn't seem.
If they add like value to the game, but they haven't told us what value they'd add to the game now.
Yeah, sure.
You know?
I think it's just whether it would have synergy with a future update or something like that. Like,
I see.
If they end up adding more to, icy biomes in future, does the Iceologer make sense to implement then?
Yeah.
If they update flower forests for whatever reason, should moo blooms exist there later? Just whatever has kind of like harmony with the ideas.
I wonder if it means they're going to hold off on the Glow Squid until after the cave update and do it on its own thing.
There was like a little.
Yeah, it really depends what their timeline is for the Cave and Cliff update right now.
I don't know if you found yourself sometimes just
Which we
going
don't
through
know
some
yet.
content and you have this special item and then you die and you lose it, or maybe you drop it accidentally. Now we've made it so that creators can actually lock something on your inventory, so that when you die or you press Q, it won't go away. That way you don't lose your mysterious golden skull.
I wonder how many people would be tempted by playing snapshots.
Because I've definitely
like,
been in an adventure map and
people like content creators that would be doing snapshot videos and stuff for the cave update, because it is such a big change.
Like there's three features to talk about right there. The first one is like we wanted to give more power to creators.
Sorry, I don't quite follow.
This one is just a small one.
Well, because previously, whenever we've talked about playing snapshots and stuff, a lot of content creators that I've seen, and just anecdotally, tend to want to wait until the update is out.
Right? Yeah.
They don't want to spoil the content. They don't want to update their worlds into something that's unstable, you know, if it's a long-term world, that sort of thing.
Yeah, but
whereas I feel like the cave update has enough energy behind it. I wonder if it's going to entice more people to try the snapshots.
Yeah, yeah. That'd be a great way of getting more community feedback, is just getting a lot of people really hyped about whatever the next update is and saying, hey, you can play it now, just let us know what you think.
One is just like a 3D printing animation, and the other one is layer by layer. And yeah, you can combine them to just achieve very cool effects.
Yeah, I can see like creators, you know, using those to add just another level of polish to their world.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
And then I recognize the scorpions.
Yeah, well, the desert theme, it felt appropriate to bring them back. They've always been one of my personal favorite custom mobs that I've ever built.
Yeah, but after watching that video for so long, and ended up having a nightmare about having to rescue my mom from some like aliens riding scorpions. It was creepy.
I'm sorry, that was not the intention.
It was creepy and funny.
Yeah. Well, speaking of aliens, I know our team put together a really cool sci-fi parkour map that, well, they made you run through, Jason.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they knew this when they asked me to run through it, but
I like the block design here.
Yeah, very cool. I also suck at parkour.
Same.
It's never. If I want to play a platformer, I want to play a platformer, first-person stuff, and not just Minecraft. Any game, first-person shooter. I even found it tricky in Portal as well.
So let's see what's in the chest.
And I like Portal a lot. I just found that the first-person platforming is just not my strong suit.
Speaking of Portal, it's like he's just turned that into one of the bouncy pads from Portal 2 with the goo. There you go. He slimed it.
Teleported to next section, kind of make it along, and
that's
right. I am really curious about that wireless redstone block. The what do they call it?
The skulk sensor.
Skulk sensor, yeah.
And you get a little platform. Now I can make this jump. Even I can make that jump.
Is that the first plant that's been redstone sensitive?
I guess so. Folks in the chat, let us know if you can think of anything else, but I feel like
you can't get a comparator signal out of a potato, right? Like you can't detect growth.
Yeah, there's ways of using existing redstone components, but I don't think many of them have really been organic. So yeah, I think that's the first time we've had something that feels like a natural part of the world, other than, you know, minerals like redstone being involved with redstone components.
Leaves. Chat's pointing out that leaves decay.
Yeah, I feel like leaf decay is one of those things that it's good that it can be detected by an observer, but it's not inherently in itself a redstone behavior. The skulk sensor, from what I can tell, outputs a redstone signal just from itself rather than having to be detected by something else.
Wow, that's super
right.
I love the aesthetic of that too as well.
It's kind of like a daylight sensor, but for vibrations. But it's a naturally occurring block. That's the unique thing about it right now.
The worlds you're creating.
Yeah.
Yeah, with data-driven items and blocks, we get so many new events.
Well, I say block, it's like a
for example,
plant on top of a block.
Yeah.
You can step on it.
Similar to how to. Well, I mean, technically, I guess a potato is like a potato plant is a block because it takes up the whole space.
Yeah. Of commands that just teleport you to the next area.
That's awesome. And I love the Slaminator, the Blockinator, and the Magic
10 minutes left to go on the poll. The Glow Squid is still winning by about 5%, so it looks like it is going to go the distance.
You can achieve so many different effects. For example, the Sliminator was
over
just using
600,000 votes. Wow.
Sorry, and the field.
Pretty great showing by the community, I think.
Blocks at the bottom with the slimes. Then the next one, we have the wand, and that one is just replacing blocks with air. And then we also had the Blockinator, which allowed you to walk by placing some blocks, replacing air with blocks. So just by combining events and the same command in different ways, you achieve so many cool effects.
Yeah, so it's just small little simple things you can combine.
They're talking about these all in the context of allowing players to manipulate the world around them for like a parkour course, for example. But you can imagine people using those as like creative building plugins and stuff. If you want to build like a really large structure and you have a creative application of something that can create a large area of blocks with a single click, it kind of goes beyond what Jeb was talking about with everything being a single block at a time. But of course, for map makers and creative builders working in Bedrock Edition, that's pretty valuable, I'd say. It's like having like MC Edit or World Edit kind of plugins.
Seems like you got, you know, after you use that, or after you use the magic wand to get to that wall, it seemed like
and I imagine that providing tools for developers who want to provide a one block at a time experience for Minecraft players, it's better for them not to have to also build those experiences one block at a time.
Yeah.
So in this case, it was just an on-fall on, and you can set what distance you want the event to trigger. So you have to fall at least 10 blocks or something like that. And when you land on it, we then break the block, similar to what, like the tomato plant and other things that we saw earlier.
Yeah, and it seemed like it took you quite a few tries to make it through, but Fanny was able to do it first try.
Yes, unlike others, 86 times. Yeah. And one new feature that we have is that on raw text, you'll be able to show the names of the players that are of interest at that moment, and also show scores. Like in this case, we were tracking how many times Mayor was dying.
It's on-screen stat displays and stuff. That's pretty cool.
And talking a little bit about these creator tools and new features that are coming out. And with these new features, there's going to be a pretty amazing new thing coming out later this year for all Minecraft players.
New feature later this year.
Remember, GDL will not be held responsible in the event of a likely death.
The subtitle said likely desk. I'm like,
Did it really?
I don't think that's what she said.
No.
2, 1.
Parasuit Force.
Yeah, that is a sequel to a very successful Knoxcrew map. Oh,
okay.
It says more cave update. This is what we've been waiting for.
A long time for this update, and if you thought the first set of features for the caves were awesome, it's time for even more awesomeness. Agnes and Near from the Vanilla Minecraft gameplay team are here to tell us what else is coming to the Caves and the Cliffs update. Hello, welcome.
Hello. Hey.
How does it feel?
It's so amazing. It's so awesome to finally be able to share that with everyone.
Yes, it feels great, and we have, looked a bit at tweets during the break, and
we have some more tweets.
We have more.
Yes.
Agnes is adorable.
Yeah,
it's just so excited.
Yes.
I think it's a mixture of excitement and relief. Like I was saying, like they've wanted this to be the update everybody wanted. Like everyone's been expecting a cave update and asking for a cave update. It's going to be super nice to have the relief of it finally being out there and people embracing it.
Yes, I joined this year, but honestly, I'm not completely sure how that happened, and not just joining Mojang. I'm not really sure how I'm here in Minecraft Live, because like just last year I was home, glued to the stream. I had to know what the next thing is coming to Minecraft, and today it's not only that I get to share that, I got to work on some of those things, so it's fairly incredible. But yeah, I've been developing games for a few years now, and more recently I've actually worked with this non-profit organization called Games for Peace, which is an amazing organization which basically uses games to promote peace. Like he takes kids from areas of conflict all around the world and sits them down to play Minecraft. And sometimes it's kids that don't even share a language, so they can't talk. So Minecraft is the language they share. Minecraft is what helps them connect and get to know each other and creates friendships, right? And it was amazing being part of that.
It's so cool. I mean, sometimes I feel like, oh, I know all.
Is this Ulraf? Somebody in the chat was saying this is Ulraf. I missed the nameplate that came up because it was behind the subtitles.
So cool. It's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. So in this update, you've been really looking at like filling out the caves even more.
Yes, so there are even more things to show, and in the things we showed so far, it's a lot about like improving the journey underground, but of course we also want to add like new things to find, like new resources. Cool. And one of them are crystals.
Oh, good times with Scar called it crystals. Oh, look at this. Amethyst geodes. Are those crystals light sources? Please tell me they're actually light sources. And is that sound they make naturally? I feel like having them around would be quite a noisy experience, but...
Yeah.
That could just be note blocks.
They're so beautiful.
Yes, the moment...
Stress Monster is going to love that, by the way. She made an amethyst geode out of, like, concrete powder and stuff on the last season of Hermitcraft.
It's like
nice.
mystical. yeah, they're so pretty. And we were thinking a lot about like what is the purpose for crystals in Minecraft. And one thing is like they should have a use, and we will talk more about one of the usages soon. But the other thing is a lot about just adding a lot to the experience of exploring. And we want them to be quite rare. So when you find them, it's really gonna be like magical, because they're just beautiful. And you know, when you walk on the crystals, you hear these sounds.
Okay, so you have to be walking on it to hear the sounds.
We talked before about the pillar of underground of Marvel. And I feel they're just the perfect feature for that sort of pillar, right?
But you can't just take them with you.
Right, so you can
take them with you?
break the crystal plant we saw in the video, but they actually grow from a very special block. And that block is unobtainable. It's sort of like you think about spawners, right? You cannot just take it and put it in your base. It makes you go and build farms all around your world. And that also encourages
really
you
interesting.
to create tunnels between them and find out ways of transferring those items.
Because yeah, like ways of farming that stuff, but also ways of making players go out to different places and not just bring all the resources home. That's quite interesting.
He also said thinking about ways of transporting them.
To them.
Minecarts.
Yeah. So from those crystal plants,
Or
you get crystal shards.
you know, it could be really interesting to build a base in one of those geodes, for example.
You can craft a telescope now.
Yeah. Oh, yes. Is this going to be like Optifine Zoom? There it is. Oh, that's cool. It's so cool seeing that. And, like, obviously not a full view in the same way that something like Optifine Zoom would be. And it seems like it's an item you have to hold in your hand to use.
It is. It's such a useful item. Super cool. And the cool thing is that, so yes, you use the crystal shards to craft them, but you also need something more, and that's also a new thing that we added.
You're making it out of crystals and some kind of new ore, I guess?
Yeah. Oh, yep, there it is. Copper.
Oh, wow. Okay, that's cool looking. So we have copper ore in the game.
Copper slabs and stairs.
I mean, slabs and stairs immediately. They know what we want. Very nice.
It's copper.
That's amazing.
It's copper.
It's new ore. And you saw the copper ore in the video.
Liara called it.
And a very interesting thing with the copper ore is that it generates in a different way. So normal ores often generate like an ore blob, but copper is different. So imagine that you are out mining and you see copper ore. So you're like, okay, I'm gonna mine the copper. And then you see some stone. It's like, they look a bit different. So you continue to mine. And then you find another copper ore. And you probably go like, okay, I think I found a copper vein. So we're actually adding ore veins to Minecraft. And like,
this was somehow the update they added ore veins.
It gets so interesting because it's kind of like following a trace when you mine.
So it's going to be occurring more like strips through the world rather than clusters.
That's amazing. And you've personally wanted.
Wonder if they're going to update all of the other resources to generate that way.
Before you started?
Yeah, you mentioned it once or twice.
Well, maybe a few times. But yes, so I think I got inspired by the pretty copper roofs in Stockholm, and they are all green because we have so many like old buildings here,
like
and we actually added that mechanic to Minecraft as well. So, you know, if you place a copper block, it will first be orange, but after a while, a pretty long time, it will turn green, and
it actually gets that like verdigris effect
because it actually adds history to Minecraft. Because, for example, if you have a really old Minecraft world, then you can see on like a house and like, oh, the roof turned all green, and then you know that that house has been there for a really long time.
I wonder if there'd be a way to have it not change.
Yeah, like galvanizing it or something.
Yeah, because I mean, I imagine that some people would want to keep the copper color.
Yeah, or keep it in one of the midway transition phases because that's really good for gradients and.
Yeah, it just looks like prismarine.
That's
when it's all
it would go very well with prismarine as well. It's like a
and copper won't only be used for the telescope. You actually have another really cool thing that you'll be able to craft with it.
Yeah. So Jens talked a bit before about these design principles that we have in Minecraft, and one of them is that if something bad happens, the player either caused it or it has a way to sort of avoid it. And one of those exceptions, for example, is lightning striking. Now, some
Here it is,
people
lightning
like
rods.
to build wooden roofs in Minecraft. Some even build wall roofs.
Looking at me.
Right.
It's not at all like the grandest castle in my realm actually has.
I enjoy the
fully built
in-house shots fired.
Yeah.
Some of us even build wool roofs.
Yeah. So to try to
Yeah, you can tell they've got a few office in jokes. But there it is, lightning rods. That's awesome. I'm also seeing in the chat that it's confirmed the poll is closed and the glow squid will be the next mob added to Minecraft. RIP Axolotl. We'll still get to see you in Minecraft dungeons, I suppose. The stream's getting a little bit pixelated because it's dark and raining, but you can pretty clearly see that is a rod conducting lightning.
That is very useful for all the wool roofs
I wonder
out
if you
there.
can do something with it. That'd be
I
cool.
think this is a problem that happened to a lot of our players. Even personally, I had this peaceful...
Lightning strikes are the reason I've justified switching off fire spread in my world, because it's not something you can control, so maybe I re-enable fire spread after this.
A house was gone. And I was quite confused because I consider myself to be someone who knows a bit about Minecraft, and there are no creepers, there are no Endermen. So what happened? We figured that probably a lightning strike hit and burned down the house, and we were quite traumatized because we were not prepared for this. So I think this lightning rod is really going to help with that.
Yeah, now you don't have to worry about that problem anymore.
No, I'm gonna place like lightning rods everywhere on my roof.
Good.
Would be perfect.
Good.
Now you've introduced a lot of things
use case aside,
already,
also a cool pointy
and
block, like
players
decoratively.
already have
Yeah,
a
just
lot of
for like
trouble
putting
with
on
their
roofs in general,
inventory
I feel like
and the
that's
amount of
railings.
items,
Yeah.
But you have an idea for that.
Fires.
Yes. So
Weather
as
vanes.
you know, we keep adding new blocks and new items all the time, and that do create a bit of an inventory problem.
Hello?
And we're aware
Inventory.
of that, and we have actually been thinking quite a lot how we can solve it, because we want to have like a good gameplay solution. We want it to be balanced, and we actually have an item in this update that will be really helpful, and it's the bundles.
Bundles, okay.
Bags.
Weird how
They're bags.
Steve hands you things.
It's a bag.
Sure is.
So you can put the same resources into a bundle.
Is it just the same resources though? This person has a lot of plants in their inventory.
No.
Yep.
No.
Okay, so
You can do both.
you're still storing a stack of stuff, but you're putting lots of little stacks of things into it to collect them all together. That's interesting. Forestry, I think it is, has a like or is it Botania that has like a flower gathering bag that will pick stuff up for you automatically, but it just stores all the flowers in one pouch. It's kind of similar to that.
This is awesome. It's such an elegant solution as well, and I love it. I think we spend a lot of time talking about the inventory problem, and I think one of the biggest takeaways there was that this is not actually one problem. It's constructed from a lot of sub-problems. For example, hotbar management is one problem. Getting a lot of blocks for your huge build somewhere, that's like something
I think
the
bundles are a
shulkers
great
help
addition,
with.
but I don't know about the UI. I'd rather see a blocky UI, like what we see already.
Yeah, I think it's important to remember that this is all still work in progress as well. Like, all of the visuals can still change, the aesthetic of it, the hotkeys, whatever it uses, can still, you know, be adjusted with player feedback.
The bundle is that you can place many different kinds of items.
There we go, many
in
different
one
kinds
bundle.
of items
so
in one
many
place.
different kinds of items in one inventory slot. So for example, I can take those 2 flowers and 1 seed and put them in one
That's
bundle.
cool. Yeah, like, I saw somebody make this argument the other day, I think on Reddit or on Twitter, that the problem with inventory is not one that is fixed by expansion, because you can have as big a storage system as you want, but you're still just going to have items everywhere, and you can't take them all with you because you have a limited amount for shulker boxes, and so having bundles kind of fixes that a little bit by making it easier to condense the bits and pieces in your inventory, which is actually a really interesting fix for that problem.
The, like, really game design side, but how do you work on the art side?
We actually have a very close collaboration.
I don't know
with
how
our
you
team,
get things
and
out of the bundle
it's
either.
Great.
Yeah, maybe just like open the whole thing up, or do you click on just one thing that you want? Like that's
and imagine how it would
that's
fit
a
into the Minecraft universe
different
and then
consideration.
Here's your favorite mom.
I know, my favorite.
I send everything to the 3D
My boy.
artist that it's gonna model it and animate it to make it alive.
I like all the iterations that they've got there as well. That's so interesting to
bring
see.
sketches to life and make them move in 3D
I wouldn't
space.
mind seeing like an art of book, like all the pre-art,
It's a challenge,
you know,
it's
the
fun,
pre-concept art for
Yeah.
Minecraft. I think that'd be really cool.
It's very rewarding. I love it.
I make the pixel art of the block, and usually when I create a block texture for a new rock type, it's going to be a lot. Like I'm going to make 50 iterations.
Is this
of one block
a
because I want
Jappa
to
face
make it
reveal?
right. Every block is
Hey,
like a
there he
building
is.
block for people's imagination, right? So I try to like pour a lot of love in each block to make sure that people can create what they want.
Awesome to see him participating in
favorite
this.
thing
I've seen him a
about
lot
the
on Twitter
Minecraft
just talking
look
about
is
this
that
stuff.
It's very unexpected, very unconventional, and that's where like this.
I know it's a
special
love
comes
seat,
from.
but it looks like a chair, and it makes her look really tiny.
It does a little bit, like a little dollhouse kind of set. But
Yeah.
no, that's
3D pixel art, and we can
really cool to
only
see
work
all of the
within those
stages of the
boundaries, so we
process.
have to, like,
This is what I was really hoping from their video series on YouTube about how they make Minecraft, but then obviously that's aimed more at a much younger audience, so it's got to be kind of brighter and colorful and have more jokes.
Yeah.
This update is
I would love to
incredible,
see a
like, people have been
Minecraft
waiting for
documentary,
this
but
so
like
long,
a really good
and
one
finally
aimed
gonna
at
do it.
adults.
What was
you know?
what was that pink thing that was rotating on the screen right there? That did not look like anything we've seen so far.
No, and there's also been a couple of block textures that Jappa was working on that are not anything I've seen before either.
Interesting.
It's so lovely when you can think about all of the different jobs within game development. I love seeing the artists and developers, and we all, like, across the show, there's so many different types of roles that people have.
Yeah, and it's really awesome to interact with all those roles and have a lot of a back and forth. We're very open in Mojang and getting ideas from all over the place, and specifically working with the art team is amazing as well. You sort of throw one idea to the air and he draws something and you're like, oh, what is that white thing in your drawing? I didn't even think about it, and it starts so many awesome ideas going. And we even integrated into our prototype process, and actually I think until I saw those sketches by the art team, I didn't really understand what archaeology in Minecraft even means.
Archaeology?
Yes.
Oh.
So we're actually adding a new system called the archaeology system.
Hello?
In this system,
Archaeology.
you're basically going to find these excavation sites all throughout your world. And you can make this new tool called the brush.
A brush?
That is going to help you uncover the mysteries of all these
We
dig
Indiana
sites.
Jones now.
So you come to one of these
Can I use
ancient
paint with this brush?
structures, and you can sort of use the
One
brush
thing at a
to
time, Joel,
clear
one thing at a
away
time.
Some of the rubble that
Gravel
may
layers,
have
though?
collapsed in those
Maybe.
structures, and sometimes you might even find something shiny inside them. But, and this is important,
not that time.
if you are not careful enough, like in real life, you can destroy that artifact.
Oh, so you got to be careful
and when
about
that
it?
artifact is gone,
Oh,
that artifact and all the secrets it held are gone
R.I.P.
forever.
Diamond Block.
But if you're careful enough, if you take your time and you're deliberate, you can get some of those hidden artifacts.
And so they
for
have
example,
ceramic
here we got
shards?
a ceramic shard, which is basically how whoever lived here used to tell and pass on their stories.
Brush the obsidian, I dare
I
you.
love the story sides of the archaeology, because we often talk about that we want to deepen the mystery in Minecraft. And when you find these hidden artifacts, you kind of find like connections and hints. And we will never tell the full story, but these will inspire the players to tell their own stories about their own
there's a fine.
Minecraft world.
I wonder how many of these are placeholders, and if you're actually going to be able to dig up diamond blocks this way. Something tells me it's probably going to be a bit more complicated than that.
That someone built for
Yeah.
this, where he can compare all the different clues he finds, right, and try to preserve whatever was down here.
This
and
is
he
really
can,
interesting. It could be quite an interesting, like, educational experience for schools as well, to have
Yeah.
archaeological digs in Minecraft, but have that actually be part of the game.
those pieces connected in a clay
pot,
actually,
that's a
trying
new
to
thing.
reconstruct them back.
That is.
And you can create that wherever, however you like.
Looks like a pot,
You can
looks like a
create
chimney.
your own stories, or try to guess how those pieces used to.
Oh, and so you can kind of put them together however you
It's
want.
also
That's
fun to
quite
be very
neat.
creative with these new pots, because you can put the shards in any way you want.
Exactly, and when you're pleased with your creation, you can fire them up, and you have your own painted clay pot.
pretty.
That's actually kind of a neat idea.
Programmer art still.
Yeah, the art we're seeing is still work in progress, but I personally like the
So there you go, work in progress for the art.
Yeah. Say programmer art isn't pretty.
Yeah, the problem is the artists are way too good.
Yeah.
They just make us look bad. I don't know.
Archaeology is amazing. I mean, the excavation site is so incredible.
I'm so excited about this. I've spent a lot of time about it, and I actually got to do a lot of awesome conversations with actual archaeologists from all around the world, and it's been. Honestly, I sort of feel like I got so passionate about it myself that their passion sort of stuck to me, and it was so amazing to learn more about this, and I'm really excited to see where it goes from here.
And you have a dev diary coming out on our YouTube channel where you kind of explore all of the archaeology even more.
Yeah, really looking forward to that. There's some people in the chat saying like Minecraft lore divers will have a field day with stuff like this. It's really interesting how between archaeology and like a copper aging mechanic, they've added so much time to Minecraft and so much like history. That's really, really cool.
Well, it feels very
I wonder if you could
sad,
brush dirt and just not complete and just leave it as a part layer.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking about having layers like that. If that means the block is just going to break because you left it alone for too long or something.
I'm gonna tell you, it's the cutest predator you will ever meet.
The cutest predator we will ever meet.
I'm pretty sure that's the warden. You've already shown it to me. Oh, there you go, axolotls. People were saying in the chat, well, that's what the pink thing was. You guys were right. And there they are. Okay, yeah, they're pretty cute. Not gonna lie, pretty cute. But not a predator for humans, for players.
No, I don't remember what they eat. Is like plankton or something?
Oh, you can put them in a bucket like fish.
I feel like
that's
there's only
nice.
one sound I can make after seeing that, which is like...
Cute. Same, Lydia, same.
The axolotls.
How did you decide on axolotls?
So, when we add a new mob to Minecraft, we really wanted to have like its own unique character. We wanted to have purpose. And it's also a very good thing if it happens to be ugly cute.
Ugly cute.
And the axolotl is perfect. It has
Yeah, they did explain that in the how we add a mob to Minecraft with the mobo kind of thing. It was like, we want it to have a balance between ugly and cute. But I feel like axolotls are one of those things that if you look at a picture of one, it does look like some sort of sci-fi alien from our world.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Yeah,
so
it's weird. They're weird looking.
It's a good choice for Minecraft as a real world mob to bring in, you know? Real world animal translating to the game mechanic.
I kind of wonder with the glow squid if more deep sea aquatic life is coming, because they're also weird.
It's good
to
add
maybe
endangered animals to Minecraft to create awareness around that. So that's also a good thing.
Like with the bees.
Yes, like with the bees last year, for example.
And they said they were predators though, like what do they prey on?
As you saw in the video, they live in the Lush caves and they really add a lot of life to the Lush caves. And there's also a bucket of axolotl.
Bucket of
axolotl.
Oh.
That's funny.
And there's like a little yellow one as well. Is that meant to be a juvenile one or is it just
there's
three. There's albino and then there's a different coloration.
Purple too.
Then you can actually scoop them up in your bucket and take them.
Somebody in the chat was like, shiny mudkip. That is another Pokemon reference, Joel.
Or maybe you bring them to your ocean adventure.
So they'll follow you around?
Not only that, but they seem to have some sort of reference to ocean temples here.
Oh, they don't like guardians.
Oh, nice. It is going to be really hard to not hit one of them with a trident when you're attacking an Elder Guardian, though. Can I point that out?
And now I see why you're calling them the cutest predator you'll ever meet.
Exactly. So when you scoop them up in a bucket, you can actually create your own axolotl army, basically.
It's a weird concept.
And charge into the oceans with them, and they will help you fight various. Well, they'll attack cute fish as well, but they'll help you fight the drowns and the guardians.
Cool. They help you fight the drowned as well. Oh my goodness!
When fighting
and
guardians,
fish,
because they have this special ability.
So brand new fish farming.
They sort of play dead. And when they're playing dead, no mob will actually attack them. So they have this time to regen back, help, and then jump back into the fight.
Oh, that's interesting.
And if you learn how to cooperate with them really well, they might even heal you during the battle.
That is so cool.
Mobs that can heal you?
So you added like
That's kind of neat.
2 mobs
Yeah.
that are like as different as possible with the warden and the axolotl.
Yes. So this update is actually a lot about contrast, which is great because
Is the warden gonna like
dramatic
really enjoy the axolotl's company? It's like holding it on its arm like that. That's
updating the highest
that's kind of
height
sweet.
If you could use it to tame the warden, that would be interesting.
Oh, taming the warden. I don't think they'll do that, but that would be so cool.
The cutest axolotl, and also in the
Maybe
caves,
not tame
like
it,
the
like
lush
keep
caves
it as a
are
pet, but
light
like
and
keep it away from
welcoming,
you.
and then the deep dark.
Yeah, just kind of like
scary and challenging.
soothe the savage beast kind of situation, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of the in-between.
Yeah, we shouldn't forget the goat. Yeah,
The
'cause it's
goat.
in between. It is still very cute, but in between. No one can be as cute as the axolotl.
No, I don't think so. Before we tell everyone the winner of the mob vote, let's take a look back at some of the exciting things that we've talked about today.
So we still haven't heard anything about cliffs. Can I just point that out? We had caves and
Yeah.
cliffs update, and it's basically all been caves. I'm not complaining. Haven't heard a great deal about cliffs. There are now cliffs underground, is what I'm hearing. Although to be fair, like the underwater cave system is a very cool idea.
Well, they did say that the mountains were going to change the way that they were made.
I guess maybe. I just like one of the other things I've always wanted in terms of terrain generation has been better like interaction between the terrain and the water, so it doesn't just always slope down to sea level or just a mountain coming out of the sea with no real like signs of water erosion and the kind of like cliff structure that you're used to from real life. And I live in a seaside town, and there are cliffs all over the place, and so it's, you know, kind of part of the geology of this area. So
yeah, same here.
I'm kind of I'm curious if they actually have plans to add cliff generation in the same way that like cave generation is changing and mountains are being updated.
Not just mountains, but also a different way that land will meet the water.
Yeah.
Oh, something they mentioned earlier was a local water level.
Yes, for the cave systems, yeah.
So that could be interesting if that applies to a cave that's near the ocean.
Before we get to our
I mean, it could do, yeah.
vote, I think there's one more question people are really going to want to know. When are we going to get the caves and the cliffs update?
When are we going to get the clay?
That's a good question. So we plan to release it summer 2021.
Okay,
and
so a
this
long
actually
time off.
It's really good. As I mentioned in the beginning of the show, we really want to have a lot of time to work together with the community to like gather feedback, see all the great ideas, because the community always have so many good ideas. So it feels good that we now have a lot of
like
time.
it's important. It's in a way it's kind of disappointing, but in a way you got to understand that they want to make sure it's done right, you know?
Well, I also think too that over the next year they're also developing from home.
Yes,
right? Like
totally. And
so that would just add I would imagine that just doubles your output, like your length of time it takes to do anything.
Yeah, the workload has got to be kind of interesting. So
Can I look first?
Yeah. You're gonna know before everyone else.
It's the glow squid.
There we go.
Wow.
I guess everyone was mesmerized by the glow squid, not just the tiny ones.
No,
I
wow.
was really not expecting
He's
that.
genuinely
That
surprised.
is
That's funny.
so
Yeah.
awesome.
Yes, like I didn't expect it at all, but it's great. And glow squids will look so cool in the caves, like
Exactly.
the atmosphere.
They fit this update
yeah, if they have those in caves and if they end up, you know, emitting light somehow or producing some sort of interesting drop, like I don't mind it. I think you know, there is also still, like I said, potential for the other mobs to show up in the game in future. So as long as the community once again works with them to kind of make this feature a little bit more interesting, I think people are going to be behind it once it comes out.
All the things that we've shown in the show. For all of you watching, Minecraft wouldn't be what it is today without all of you. From all of us at Mojang Studios, thank you so much.
Thank you, Lydia.
Bye.
All right, well, that's it, folks. We'll probably have some sort of, like, wrap-up notice, and Joel and I are going to stick around for just a little while longer so we can talk about what we've all just witnessed. Because there's a lot of information to unpack there, and we will, of course, be talking about this all on Monday's podcast, but I think it's probably time for us to get a few first impressions out of the way, shall we say?
Yeah, no, absolutely.
And thanks to the folks at Mojang, I actually have a couple of screenshots prepared of some of this so that you guys can take a closer look at some of the stuff. So, to review, we have Lush Caves to start off with, and I'm going to have to move you around a little bit because the layout on my stream has changed a little bit, so apologies for this while I move some stuff. Joel, where are you? There you are.
Still
okay.
Here.
Yep, there we go. So now Joel is in his right place. Lush Caves. That's a really cool looking biome. Remember from these we had plants that emit particles that are going to sort of drift down from the ceiling. We have a new tree type that they didn't really spend all that long on, but there are going to be azalea trees that kind of lead you down into these biomes. We have moss covering the floor, some sort of little sapling type things, and glowing berries, all sorts of stuff. What are your impressions of this one so far, Joel?
I mean, having vegetation in the caves makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Right. Even in vanilla Minecraft now, when you stumble across a little bit of grass that has grown in a cave, you know, from just being close enough to the surface, it just kind of gives it that extra little bit of life.
Yeah.
I like this idea a lot. I figured after the crimson, the weeping vines and the
twisted vines,
yeah, that opens up a bunch of different other vine updates, right? You have the mechanic, you have the way that block works in the game, so that you can add it into other biomes with different skins and different functionality. They mentioned that the glow berries are a light source.
Yeah.
They didn't get into any details as to what those might be able to be turned into, what kind of light source they actually give off. It looks like it might be a full light level 15, but there's also an awful lot of them, so it might not be that much. It's just that there's so many of them that it's a pretty bright situation. And I like the idea of having what looks like a mossy grass block, something this is not Optifine, this is grass on all 4 sides or all 6 sides of this thing that we're looking at, right? And it looks like it also comes in layers, or at least has a top and a block, sort of.
Yeah.
Similar to how wool has got wool block and carpet.
Yeah.
And that to me is really neat because it provides 2 things. Like it gives you the natural environment, but then it also gives you like dual purposes later.
Yeah. Taking a closer look at this screenshot, we also seem to have a lot of clay generating in this cave, so potentially that's going to be a source of clay for people who are still finding that difficult to find, or if they want to use a large amount of that. It seems like grass is growing even on the mossy blocks, so they're going to be just as compatible with flowers and other plant life as grass is. You can imagine like growing ferns and stuff on there as well. Just the fact that it has like a little bit of height variation is really interesting to me with the grass layers. And once again, if the archaeology thing allows you to like shave down the layers of some of these softer blocks, I don't know if it'll let you stick around with those, but maybe we could end up seeing some variation going on there. So really impressed with what they've done. And these are apparently going to scale with whatever the natural terrain generation does. So you can imagine going into one of those massive cavernous spaces underground and seeing like just a little bit of foliage coming down from the ceiling and then emerging out, maybe even on a boat if you're in one of those kind of lower areas of cave, and just emerging into this massive mossy environment. Even adding some like mossy cobblestone stuff around there could really change things up. Or having a stronghold generate halfway through one of these where like mossy bricks are in the wall and then that leads you out into a stronghold.
It would be neat also if you discover one of those reservoirs underground, like if you decided to create your base there or something like that, that you could use a bunch of underwater light sources, a lot of which now we can waterlog underneath the water and have everything be like have all the light in the situation coming from below. It'd be really cool.
Yeah, definitely. Let's move on to talk about Dripstone caves, and once again I am going to have to move you. I'm sorry, I'm going to have to keep doing this every time because I didn't lock in the overlays quite right. But there we go. We have Dripstone caves. So these look like the more cavernous caves that we saw generating. There's a couple of other interesting points here. There's like a set of rocks in the center of the picture, just kind of off to the right, that look like a different type of stone. It doesn't look like granite or diorite or anything to me. and that seems to maybe be related to the same material the stalagmites and stalactites are made out of. So that's kind of an interesting prospect. Didn't hear much about that as a block, but then we know that the stalagmites and stalactites are going to be pointy enough to be dangerous. They are going to fall if they are broken towards the top, and that could potentially cause damage because they definitely damage you if you fall onto them from above. So this really feels like a very different dynamic to caves and helps them feel a little bit less blocky and a little bit more organic, for better or for worse, because this is still Minecraft after all.
It is one of those things where it is a cool addition in terms of the functionality and the fact that, you know, it adds that kind of cool exploration of caves and looks like real world caves, you know, as you would expect it would. I'm not sure I dig the whole flat polygonal cross.
Yeah,
thing
it's
that they've
the
done.
same thing with you know, sugarcane and stuff
crystals.
like that. I wonder how
Yeah.
quickly people will move to make this a 3D resource pack with a block model instead of having that kind of that same thing, because you can imagine them doing something like that with you know, having it have the same structure as a wall block or chorus plants, for example. But I wonder if that's maybe just like a memory saving thing and a rendering saving thing to make them.
It could be, but I don't know. There's an awful lot of these. Like
Yeah.
I don't know whether just because they still have 4 faces. They're just flat.
Yeah.
And so I don't know why it would in that way. But like for me, it's one of those things where I've seen other like crystals and stuff, I guess in modded playthrough, not my own but other people's, and they've gone with the geometry, like they go with the blocks, but it's still, the ones that I saw were still very Minecrafty. Like it didn't go into like super realistic crystalline structures. It was still like a bunch of little blocks just kind of sticking out of the face of the thing. And I think that's interesting that they went this route. I'm hoping that we get more than just copper. Like I'm hoping for, like you said, a new stone type. We've had people write into the show before about asking for a better light gray stone, something that isn't 50% gray.
Yeah, so
you know?
so let me tell you what I know about this and what I have seen of the crystals in particular, because you look at this screenshot, and sorry, once again, gonna have to move you out of the way. Dang it, Joel. Now, if you look at the surrounding material for this geode, there you go.
I wasn't fast.
I'm sorry. I'll cue you next time. If you look at the material that is surrounding this geode, you will notice there are 2 different types of material. And I don't know if they didn't really mention this in the live show, so it's not really something we can go into detail about quite yet. But what I understand is that those are outside layers of those crystal geodes, which are new types of material. You've got that white block there that has a kind of marble-ish texture, and you've got an outside one that looks like a little bit darker. Those, I believe, are not placeholders, or maybe the textures are still subject to change, but they are going to generate as part of these geodes. So, and looking at the crystals, what you were saying about the stalagmites and stalactites, I feel like it's really just a proximity to the ground thing, and if it's just one little crystal sticking out like that, then you don't really notice the fact that it's like a cross-shaped sprite just on a flat plane.
Yeah, but these work better than the stalagmites and the stalactites.
Because then, for a start, they've got stuff poking out at all angles, so it kind of feels more angular to begin with, but you also don't have just like the width of it going all the way up to the ceiling of a cave in some cases. I also wonder how renewable any of the stalagmites and stalactites are going to be. If they're going to be, you know, craftable, how do they break down? Are they going to be something that we can make out of the rock we're seeing in those caves? Or is it just going to be a case of there being relatively abundant resources like that underground, so you don't need to worry about crafting them? You just go there and harvest a bunch. It kind of remains to be seen if the pointy section is going to be separate from the body of it, and I would assume not, if it works the same way as, you know, sugarcane or bamboo or any of the other plants that have different block states but ultimately look the same. But it doesn't seem like the kind of thing we'd be able to bone meal, so, you know, not organic.
They mentioned that it will create a source of water. So if you put a cauldron underneath a stalactite, then water will drip off the stalactite into the cauldron.
Yeah, and so from that you could fill up a bucket of water and you get renewable water that way, which is quite interesting as a mechanic in itself. But those drips also have to come from somewhere, I would assume.
Yeah, like do you maybe? Well, I mean, it could be something like waterlogging a block above it if you wanted to make your own. Like I'm just curious to see. They obviously want you to be able to move them, because if they damage mobs, I mean, like all the technical players out there are gonna be just like, can I pick one up and move it to a different location?
Yeah.
Like my XP farm. Like that's kind of where, you know, I can see that going for sure.
Yeah. You mentioned copper, so let's go back to that. I have a little composite image here, and once again, moving Joel. So there we go. We have copper in several stages. We've got an ore block, and that apparently introduces the concept of ore veins being present in Minecraft now in a way that they weren't before. So we're getting more strata in the rock, more kind of like, you know, stringy, you know, stripes of precious material rather than it being clusters of iron ore or diamond or whatever. And maybe that will apply to other ores. Maybe they are just introducing it with copper because existing world generation is, you know, a legacy they want to preserve or something. But we have the copper ore blocks themselves that presumably gets smelted down into some sort of copper bar that then gets made into this. Notice that they didn't mention there are tools out of copper, so one presumes they are not planning on adding a tier of tools with this, otherwise that would kind of be big news.
Well, and the thing that would make the most sense for a copper tool, copper's a pretty soft metal, so you wouldn't be putting it.
It'd be like gold again.
Putting it, be putting it between wood and iron, and no one would use it as a tool.
Exactly.
So.
Yeah. So that does make a lot of sense, but as a roof material, I think the first place my brain went to was B-Dubs, because B-Dublo is building a castle with a copper roof, but he's having to use things like stripped acacia and cyan concrete and stuff like that for it, because he wants the same kind of tarnished patina to the copper, which is obviously now present in these blocks, but the blocks might not be for everyone. You might be able to mix and match them with the other materials that are going to be in the game. You already said, like, these look like prismarine, and, you know, mixing them up
at the end,
in prismarine once they've been completely aged would be an interesting process. But then you're not going to be able to age them yourself. You're going to have to plant them somewhere, leave them exposed to the elements, and then, you know, allow them to just sit there until they become the blocks that you want. So in a way,
or vice versa. Like, what if you want the copper block? You don't get it for very long. Like as far as we know, it doesn't look like you can stop it from changing.
I'm not sure if they mentioned this in the show, but I believe they have mentioned there being a way of doing that.
Okay.
So yeah, there is potentially, going to be a way to. I don't know if it's going to be like a process like galvanizing or something else, but I imagine it wouldn't be that advanced.
No, it could be something like I'm trying to think about what it would be in terms of in a Minecraft gameplay situation. Like, if you smelt it and you hardened it, it would then no longer be, you know, something that would be affected by the elements. You know, like you smelt it again. You know, something that would cost the player coal or time.
Yeah,
or,
no, it's definitely going to be
resources.
Going to be something that involves like other ingredients being combined with it somehow. Yeah, I can see that being the case. I do really like the look of these, especially when they're mid-transition between that kind of super like bright copper and then if they've got like little kind of patches of it. Like, that's really artistically quite well done because it looks organic. It looks like the stuff is just kind of like applying itself in a more organic way than just having half the block go and then the other half of the block goes, you know?
Right,
like,
yeah.
It's definitely a nicer way of looking at it.
And there was more than one stage too. It wasn't like, you know, 50% and then done. There was probably 3.
Yeah. So like ultimately 5 block states for this, where it's, you know, regular copper and then it's starting to get that verdigris tint to it, and then midway, and then 75%, and then all the way turquoise kind of color.
Yeah. People pointing out in chat that copper conducts electricity in real life. I wonder if there's going to be any kind of redstone ability.
I mean, maybe, yeah. That could be a possibility. And, you know, as a block itself, it will probably conduct redstone. But that's something that I'm sure will come up on the Minecraft suggestions Reddit and in the feedback site. And, like, maybe they'll be able to allow it to be the one material where stairs are conductive. You know, that kind of thing could be really interesting for redstone builds where you need a non-solid block for something, but you also need it to be conductive. That could be a really interesting way of doing it. Let's move on to one of the other uses of copper and those crystals, which is a telescope, through which, if I move Joel around, you can now see Joel in place of this bee.
You thought you were going to see a bee, but instead it's me.
Yes,
you're welcome.
It's a Canadian. Yeah. I see him over there. Yes, so the telescope basically transitioning Optifine Zoom into a vanilla feature, more or less. Or let's maybe move away from associating it entirely with Optifine, because it seems to be something that is an item that maybe this is a right-click use for, like hold down right-click to look through it kind of thing, in the same way that you'd, use another item like that or eat food or something. And it's got this very limited scope, but it allows you to zoom in on a specific subject. Seems to only have like one zoom level as far as we can tell, or as far as they showed us. And I wonder if this is going to be one of those things where they listen to the community a little bit about how it controls, because everybody is currently used to Optifine Zoom being a very easy to control thing. It's just a keybind, it zooms your entire screen in, it's very fast, there's not an extra item to carry around in your inventory. At what point do we see that that kind of argument being made for the telescope being, yes, it's an item you have to craft, but what then? Can you then put it in a more permanent slot in your inventory and then just use it whenever?
Yeah, and I don't know, like, the zoom key is something that you hear a lot of content creators complain about when they can't have access to it when a new Minecraft version comes out and you have to wait for the mods to kind of pick up the slack.
Yeah.
Because it's very helpful when you're trying to point out things in the build from far away.
Yes.
This is not the same use case because it's going to also restrict your view. So if you're kind of to zoom in on a build, you're also going to obscure about 50% of that build when you go to zoom in on something.
Yeah.
And I don't know as a player I've ever wanted a telescope for me.
Yeah.
Like, I've always wanted it to communicate to viewers as a content creator. I've never thought, I wish I could zoom in on that, to see how it looks very close up and very isolated. I always want to zoom in on something from far away and see how it looks with the whole screen. And I mean, much like everything else in Minecraft where you can control the vignette and stuff, they've also given people with accessibility issues the ability to control like the wobble effects and the nausea effects. If people can change the way that a pumpkin affects you when you wear for Enderman in the end with just a simple resource pack. This would strike me as something that's just as simple as a resource pack. If you wanted to remove the black oval vignette from this, it would probably be very easy to do.
Yeah, and it's the kind of thing where maybe you can fade it out a little bit at the edges, or maybe craft a slightly different telescope if you want to. There are two things that really come to mind though when it comes to adding a telescope to vanilla, and people saying Optifine is better. There's arguments to be made for either side. Bedrock Edition does not have Optifine and does not have any kind of like modding community that has added a zoom, I believe. I don't know if that's been done by add-ons or anything, but having it as a vanilla feature is going to be way more useful to people who don't want to mess with all of that stuff in Bedrock Edition. And also pirate roleplay, I don't know what the player looks like when they are using a telescope and how a telescope might operate in a third-person environment. The way Optifine, you can zoom in on your player character when you're in third person and it still works the same. But if you can like hold a telescope up to your eyes, or if you can, scope out the landscape around you or the seas around you as a pirate, like younger players are going to have a great time with that. I feel like seeing a ship on the horizon is going to be a lot of fun when you've got an actual telescope to look through, right?
Yeah, and I also wonder, somebody just mentioned it in chat as how a telescope might affect PvP. What if you're going to be using it in conjunction with, say, a crossbow or a bow and arrow that you have in your hand, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it gets a little bit first-person shootery, but it turns into like maybe it's a scope.
Exactly. Yeah.
If you're in PvP and you're trying to natively see what type of armor is that iron armor or is that leather armor or is that netherite armor from across the map? I can't tell. I have to zoom in and see if I can see the face piece that they have on the helmet, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't PvP in Minecraft, so I'm not sure how easy it is to see that kind of stuff from far away. But like that could be one aspect of it. Like, is that a bee or is that a person in yellow armor? I can't tell.
Yeah.
Like, I don't, that kind of stuff.
Moving on to other stuff that takes up space in your inventory or maybe frees it up. Let's move on to talking about bundles, because this is really interesting, and I said it during the show, and I'll kind of reiterate that here. This is a really forward-thinking way of handling the inventory crisis, rather than just kind of expanding everyone's inventory, but then giving you larger containers that you can't necessarily take with you. This is a way of getting all of the little items out of the individual stacks in your inventories and just packaging them all up in a single bundle, which, like you said, Joel, we don't really know how to get them back out of that now. So that might be a facet that they need to explore in the development versions of this, but it seems like they have a pretty good handle on how these are going to work. And the example here with gathering up flowers is a really great one, I think, because you're in a flower forest, you just want one or two of each flower at the time, or you want to just like shove a bunch of wood planks and stairs and slabs and all of the stuff that's left over from one of your builds. Having a bundle to put all of that stuff in just tidies up your inventory and gives you a little bit of room to think, right?
Yeah, exactly. And they showed in the video of them people putting items into the bundle and also grabbing the bundle and clicking on items around your inventory to put them inside. So there's two different ways to get stuff into it. I don't recall seeing any way of getting stuff out of it.
Yeah.
And it doesn't look like they did show it, but it doesn't look like you had control over what came out first.
Yeah.
Because they were just clicking around and stuff was coming out. It does look very similar in terms of the information that you get when you hover over it to it's a mod that I have installed with Fabric called Shulker Box Tooltip, which all it does is just let you look inside of a shulker before you place it down. You still have to place it down to get anything out of it. The difference there that I'm seeing is, as they said, the art is under development. I think it would be clearer if they went with the same sort of like grid UI that you see in the main UI.
Yeah.
When you look inside of a bundle, sure, have it that black background, but it would be helpful, I think, to show what's inside separated. I don't need to see all the flowers there in your screenshot all jumbled up on top of one another.
Yeah.
I'd rather see a stack of 4 daisies, a stack of 3 dandelions, a stack of,
and if it's all like different spruce wood objects, that's just going to look like a giant mess, right? Because they're all going to have the same color, texture, so forth.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So that makes a lot of sense. And again, I think the UI is something that they're going to be focusing on, what the player experience of that is and how it can really be adjusted in that sense.
But it's good. Like it's good news, because even if you're using it for just the surface level, picking up all those little odds and ends that ends up in your inventory, like all the little pieces of grass and flowers and leaves and things when you're out like clearing an area, even if you're just going back to your main base of operations and dumping your inventory, this is going to make it so much easier. You're not going to have to do that all the time.
Yeah, and who knows how this can be expanded as well. Like, as an option, this is like the baseline. This is one of our solutions to this problem. Things can expand from this. We could maybe have bundles that are capable of storing larger amounts of stuff. Maybe bundles could end up being an enchantable object. Azuma put out a video recently about enchantable shulker boxes. I think this could easily be something that's affected by that. This is just the first time we're seeing a feature like this, and I think on a surface level, it's working out pretty well for me.
Yeah, and it looks low-tech. Like, this is not something you have to go and beat the dragon to get access to.
Exactly, yeah. It seems like something that probably be made out of leather or, whatever other resources that are nice and early.
Sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you want to see next? Because I've been kind of walking us through each of these things.
Around, let's go with some vibrating death fungus.
All right.
From the deep dark depths.
You are currently in the deep fungus. Let me once again move you out of the way. So
up to my eyeballs in fungus, not the first time.
If I'm getting this right, this was called the Skulk Sensor, and it seems to be... They didn't really talk much about what the other material around it is, and it does look like a variant of Endstone, despite them showing it generating lower down in the overworld. And these are very, like, end-looking blocks in terms of the color palette. You see a lot of that end portal frame color palette being used here, but this is overworld stuff, and redstone-emitting, organic-ish block, and it detects vibrations. We don't quite know what the radius of that is. It looked like they were using them within 3 or 4 blocks. If they were stepping nearby or putting down a block, they were throwing snowballs to distract the warden. I assume this works the same way. I really wonder how they are choosing what causes sound and what doesn't.
It looked like everything. Whenever the player in the video plates the torch, the skulk sensor would then wobble.
Right, so basically anything that causes a subtitle to pop up.
Anything that causes a sound, because Agnes was saying, like, you have to sneak and do everything very, very quietly. and I think that would it makes sense. And something I really liked about this idea of adding a sound sensor to Minecraft, in that it teaches those mechanics similar to how Redstone teaches
like
you know,
electronics.
Electronics and computer programming, sound, how sound can be dampened, how sound can travel, how far it travels, whether it echoes, like that kind of stuff. I don't think it's necessarily that complicated, but the unexpected outcome of that was that you can create a chain reaction. If you put these sculk sensors close enough to one another, the fact that they make a sound when they detect a sound can then be relayed down a line. And in Minecraft, as far as I know, unless this changes with the sculk sensor, you, the player, can only hear blocks from 15 or 16 blocks away. After that, you don't hear the noises anymore. And so you could have, you know, wireless redstone traveling throughout something, and you're really only going to hear that first wobble from this thing.
Yeah.
And after that, you're not going to hear anything at all.
Yeah. There are people in the chat saying they feel bad for Tango, and we mentioned Tango in terms of like him using player detectors to kind of, you know, trigger redstone events and make stuff happen. Don't feel bad for Tango. Tango will take this and make like Decked Out 2 on the next season of Hermitcraft or whatever, and people are going to lose their minds, and it's going to be perfect. Or the redstone community is going to find so much stuff that they can do with this. It will be game breaking in all the best ways. And I think sorry, go on.
Why would Tango want to wait until next summer?
Exactly.
Like he's going to do his stuff now. Like,
yeah, like,
you know,
the fact that
the
fact that he's been able to do this with the stuff that we already have in Minecraft is phenomenal. Imagine what technical Minecrafters are going to do with this.
Imagine the one-man band that's going to happen with a pufferfish and a sculk sensor.
I do like the fact that they implemented this and then they went, oh wait, it will trigger itself and it creates an infinite loop. It's another way of making a redstone clock then, you know? That's really cool in itself. And obviously wireless redstone is possible in a few different ways, but we have another way of doing it now, you know, something that doesn't involve, you know, daylight sensors or stuff triggering from further away. It's not just player detectors. There's a whole bunch you can do with this. As a sound detector, that's super cool.
Even just making music, I mean, like, it's gonna make a noise every time it hears a note block. So if you've got a bunch of them next to a bunch of note blocks, like, you're gonna have like this rave central just, like,
yeah,
rocking up to
totally.
Minecraft, right?
And yeah, the fact that you can then occlude it with wool so that you can effectively soundproof it on several sides of the block and just have it look for stuff that's to the north of it or to the west of it or above it. Excuse me, that's really, really interesting. I can imagine that being used in a whole variety of ways. If you want to have a one-way facing alarm system so that you know when something has, like when a zombie or a creeper or another player is at your front door, but not measure all of the sounds coming from inside the house. Like, so when you leave your front door, it doesn't trip something, then I think that's a very easy way of doing that, and seems like a very intuitive mechanic to use as well. You're not going to need like an instruction manual for this thing. As long as you know that it interacts a certain way with wool blocks, or maybe if you sneak around on wool next to it, you're not going to be detected by it, then like that brings in the building aspect of it as well, which I think is really cool.
Yeah, I don't know how we get this yet. I mean, it looks like it might be a silk touch block that you want to grab from like the deep dark depths. I don't know whether it's something that will grow and spread like mycelium. It has some cool decorative properties too. Like, it would just be, if you're making some creepy witch tower, this just kind of growing in places in it would just look cool. You know, like it's got some really cool stuff there. I do hope that they allow players to do different things with this, similar to how nether wart can be crafted into its own block. Like, I think that this block that this thing is sitting on is also a really interesting color combination and could have some uses in people's builds if they wanted to do it. Like, imagine putting this kind of a block in the ceiling of a bedroom in a house and making it look like a kid has got like Starry Night on the bedroom ceiling.
Yeah,
like, there's all kinds of really cool uses for it. So I hope that it's not just something that you can that you have to like walk on or get to the
deep dark
sculk, the sculk sensor thing. And that's something that I wanted to say about the crystals before we moved on, is that I was a little bit surprised that they put that much, into the crystals where you can't actually take the block the crystals glow on. It's an interesting mechanic.
Yeah.
Like you can't actually pick up that purple block. You have to grab the crystals from it, but you can't move that actual block.
Yeah.
And I agree that it encourages the players to go out and explore and find stuff. I wonder how much blowback they're going to get though from a block that you can't mine or move in Minecraft, which is one of the things I think appeals to a lot of people about the game, is that outside of Bedrock, you can basically move everything.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting time. Right now, from what I can see in the screenshot, the blocks the crystals are growing on do not look any different to the blocks that are around them. And so from what I understand, there are specific blocks in there. You can pick up all of the other like amethyst blocks that are in there, just not the ones that you find crystals growing on.
I thought the whole shell, much if you found a dungeon, with a spawner in it. Imagine if none of the mossy and stone blocks around that could be moved.
Yeah, no, my understanding is that not all of these blocks will grow crystals. It's just the ones that you find.
Single ones.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So it's only the ones underneath the crystals that you see. That's the only block that can't be moved. Everything else can be moved.
Yeah.
Okay. I misunderstood the way that they said that.
Yeah, I think he mentioned it briefly beforehand, but then we were just so taken with the fact that, hey, this is an unobtainable block now. It kind of swept that news out of the way.
Okay. That's cool.
And yeah, like it's really interesting the way that, like, presumably they're going to grow like plants, so there are going to be different growth stages of those crystals as well, which is going to be neat, fun to mess around with. Going back to the sculk sensor and its surrounding environments, I want to take another look at my new child, the warden, because... And I'm moving him instead of you now. Let me lock this off 1 second. There we go. And then I can move picture of Joel. Very good. So, for a start, something that is not visible in this screenshot, but is visible in some of the presentation video, there are these little... I think you can almost just about see them over the edge of the bow in this screenshot. There are little black candles that seem to be down there. Not sure if they were player-placed just for the purpose of lighting, but they seem to be different from something like sea pickles, but in little clusters. And so that was a feature they didn't mention because we were focusing on the warden, but that seems like maybe either a feature that just exists down here in this environment or something players can now craft as an additional light source, which is going to look great for, castle builds, all that kind of stuff. Anywhere medieval candlelit builds will be worthwhile, but
especially if they echo the mechanics of sea pickles, where if you place one candle, two candles, or three candles, you get different light levels.
Variable level light sources. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
What we all want. The warden itself is a really interesting addition because it is another huge mob. It's like along the same lines as something like the Ravager. It looks as high, if not taller, than an Enderman. It's got these big horns. Visually, once again, this looks like very much a creature of the End Dimension. It's got that Endstone style, like bone-looking stuff on its arms, and yet we find it in the overworld, apparently. So this raises a few more lore questions about, like, where is this creature from? Is it something that, was born in the darkness of the overworld or somewhere else and it migrated here? But you also have its relation to whatever the rest of the stuff in the Deep Dark is. The sculk sensors, the stuff growing on the floor and on the walls. And it seemed to have a little kind of room of its own. I can't tell if that was meant to be a player-created base or if it's implied that the warden creature actually lives there with, like, barrels of stuff. What is it a warden of is also what I want to know. Is it just that biome, or is there some other kind of treasure they have planned there that they're just not telling us about yet?
Yeah, the name doesn't... It kind of implies a lot, but then they didn't reveal much about that. I thought it was interesting that, again, focusing on sound, it's a blind mob, so it can't actually see you.
Yeah.
It's hunting you based on sound.
And you can distract it based on sound as well.
Yeah, I think a couple of the devs saw A Quiet Place and are now making that a real thing for players. Someone in our chat pointed out with a question that, like, is that an open rib cage? And yes. That's, I believe, what there's a heartbeat noise that's meant to, like, indicate to you that the warden is getting closer to you as you hear this heartbeat noise. And the pixelation in its chest actually animated to show like a pulsating sort of like heart, I guess.
I get very Hyperlight Drifter vibes from this aesthetically. I get very Studio Ghibli vibes from this in terms of like creature design. Like,
it's weird and wonderful, yeah.
And they managed to make it blocky, but still feel interesting and organic, and not just like a retake on an iron golem, for example. Like, it's probably about physically a little bit bigger than an iron golem, but I don't get iron golem vibes from this at all, which is really good.
Yeah,
so it's not just like another zombie variant kind of situation, right?
Different head size, different leg size. I did sort of think iron golem, but that's just because it's the way that the blocky stuff is animated in Minecraft. You can't really kind of get around that.
It kind of lurches back and forward a little bit as well. Like
and I noticed that when it detects sound, similar to the skulk sensor, its skulky ears, they kind of twitch, kind of like how a dog would when it hears something. Like the ears will kind of switch around.
There was a particle that kind of flew up towards it to kind of imply that's the direction it's hearing the sound from.
Oh, I didn't see that.
As well, yeah. So I think that's potentially going to be a good indication to the player of like, hey, you're making sound and a warden is nearby when you see these like blue particles flick up from where your feet are and you have to like suddenly stand really still or start crouching or whatever.
Yeah, so it makes sense. It's cool. And I kind of wonder, like, if it's right on top of you and you squat and you keep completely still and silent, I wonder if it will wander off,
strafe around it, kind of thing. Yeah,
yeah. If you're able to get away, because I believe that you don't make any. Well, it's hard to say, because if you're sneaking, you have to release the sneak to get off the edge of a block, right? Because you can't walk through a cave like what we're looking at. If you're sneaking all the time, because you're always going to run into an end of a block.
Yeah, and you can jump while sneaking, but then does jumping and maybe taking fall damage alerts it as well. And this combined with any other mobs around is going to be an absolute nightmare, because like you want to stay maneuverable when there's like a creeper or some skeletons or something, but when you also have to sneak and then they are making noises when you hit them, like if any other mobs spawn in the deep dark, you are screwed.
Well, unless you can use them to distract, like bring a bundle of eggs with you, throw those down, hope you get a chicken that clucks at the other end of the hallway, right?
You can distract this thing with chickens. That'd be so good.
It's like the trope you've seen in every action movie where like the guy throws something down the hall and people go like, "What was that?" and they all run the other direction.
It's Metal Gear Solid distracting the guards by knocking on the wall, kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like absolutely, this is It's so cool finding like a whole new depth of mechanics and like stuff that you can introduce to Minecraft that seems so fundamental, like sound being a thing now. And something that you have to consider beyond just, okay, everything naturally makes sound because that's immersion of the world around you. Now it has a mechanical purpose, both in fighting a mob and in dealing with new redstone stuff. So there's a lot that can be done with that, and it's a concept, you introduce it now, a couple of updates down the line, it gets even more expanded by that point. So there is great potential in this, I feel like.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think it's an interesting thing. It's also very end game, like to bring up the fact that it really did a number on I can't remember the guy's name, but it
King B-Dogs.
B-Dogs. It was like 3 hits, and he was in full netherite armor.
Yes. Yeah, no, it did 6 hearts to him wearing full netherite. So that thing is going to one-shot you if you're not wearing armor. Like, that is a 10 hearts worth of damage hit, probably. So, wild. And, obviously you're not going to be able to speedrun your way to this unless you are, pretty well equipped with a bow and it can't reach you. I think that's
someone in our chat just actually mentioned something that I think is really interesting. Potion of silence, ? Like, if that would be added as like a end game, something that you need from maybe the end or some sort of end game potion brewing that situation to make this kind of encounter a lot easier. That'd be interesting.
That is a very good concept, and just like potion of quiet would be and then. But then how do you, like...
The shush potion.
That's the thing. If you drink a potion of silence, that makes a noise and it can hear you drinking. So you have to be prepared for it, is what I'm saying. You have to kind of go in. You can't use a splash potion because then it'll, But I imagine, like, in a PvP situation, like, bringing one of these with you and somebody else isn't prepared for it, you suddenly sneak and then it diverts and goes after the other guy,
Yeah.
Could be... a really interesting PvE contribution, at least. And maybe killing this might be the gateway to having renewable skulk sensors, because they have a similar aesthetic going on, or you know, could be unrelated and just a facet of the biome being a little bit more consistent in its artistic direction. But that's cool. Other mobs we have to cover are the Axolotl and the goat. Which would you like to go to first?
Let's go Axolotl, because they were really interactive. If you pick them up in a bucket, they look pretty cute, but and they don't attack you, but they will attack everything else that you put them near. We were chatting, but I did catch during the stream that they also said that they will attack the glow squid.
Yes.
So yeah, so the glow squid farm, there you go. Just have some axolotls around. The axolotl will recharge its own health.
Yeah.
If it has time to take a break. They'll attack guardians. I would imagine that if there's this kind of a mechanic in there, the axolotl also does take damage. So I imagine people are going to be bringing them on a guardian fight, but also have to be prepared to maybe not have as many axolotls at the end of that fight as they do at the beginning.
Yes.
And there was at least 3 different variants that we saw in the concept art. We only saw the pink one in game, but there was a pink, a purple, and a bright yellow.
I believe briefly you saw a bright yellow one swim past in one of the sections, but I don't have a screenshot of it right here. The fact that you can put them in a bucket, that seems to be either that's how you tame them, or like at least get them to be friendly to you, or maybe they just follow you if you jump into the water, because they mentioned putting them in a bucket to bring them with you and have your own little like axolotl army, but it did seem to be like, you know, the rest of the time they were just kind of ambient and swimming around in those lush cave lakes. So that's kind of cool. I like the aesthetic of them. I think, like I said, they're a great sort of real-life monster-y kind of addition to Minecraft. They can really feel like the kind of mob that fits in with the ecosystem Minecraft already has. And yeah, they are pretty adorable, I gotta say. The design of them is very cool.
Yeah, nice that they're adding a new aquatic mob, even though it's a cave update. You know? I mean, like it allows you to bring that into other situations.
Somebody pointed out in the chat earlier, I forget exactly who it was, but they said how somehow they have added time and sound in an update about caves. You know?
Yeah.
And it's really cool the way that they managed to you know, they've got a solid theme for it, and that's obviously, you know, it can't be the cave cliff sound and time update, but then there's definitely expansions on all of these concepts and ways that they can, you know, add some interesting stuff to them from there.
Speaking of, they didn't mention anything yet, but there might be new music tracks that come with the new cave biomes
I would
updates.
Absolutely love that. That or like ambient sound, like we have
ambient sound
in Nether biomes.
The Nether.
Like I would,
the Nether. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I would absolutely love that to happen, because it's really changed the Nether for me. It feels quiet going back to the overworld now.
Yep, and we didn't mention it, but we were excited about it when they mentioned it on the stream, and that is the fact that there are particles that are associated with the plants in the cave update.
Yes.
That travel with the plants. They're not biome dependent.
Yeah.
So if you want to bring those particles back to your build, you can totally do that. And
yeah, I'm really excited about the azalea trees as well, because they have like pink flowers in them, and so like we have a leaf variant that isn't just green. You know, we have a leaf block that can actually use, you know, you can put those in hedgerows in front of houses, and they can just be like nice little bushes, you know, and like people keeping flowers that way that don't have to use flower entities. They can have like, you know, flowering hedgerows. That's a really nice addition as well. And somebody was saying azalea looks like oak wood. Again, this is probably something that might be subject to change depending on how they retexture stuff. Player feedback always plays a part in this. We don't know what the internal wood looks like, just the external. So we'll see how that all works out.
I hope they give us a light colored wood.
Yeah.
Having used some white oak in my modded playthrough, I would really like to see a white or light wood.
Yeah, something lighter than birch, something like a little bit more of a maple kind of like whiteness. Yeah, I agree. I think that'd be a really good addition.
Yep.
Let's talk about goats, because we now have our first look at what... Oh, there's a... I moved the screenshot around. There is a cow behind you. Don't look. And so the goats. We have the goats. We also have a picture of the goats in Minecraft Dungeons as well, because as they mentioned, the Howling Peaks update for Minecraft Dungeons, which we'll talk about in a second, does have goats in it as a wandering passive mob in the same way that cows and other mobs appear in those levels, and they don't seem to be hostile to you in Minecraft Dungeons. They seem to headbutt that cow right off the cliff in the video, so I wonder if they're going to do that to players or if they're just going to headbutt other mobs. It's another alternative to the Zoglin that might be a little bit difficult to control, but could be fun for passive mob farms or, AFK mob farms. But as an entity in themselves, what do you think of the goat?
As far as just adding mobs to the Minecraft, it's just better than seeing cows on top of a mountain.
Yeah.
Because they make a lot less sense.
Or llamas, because llamas just sort of feel like, you just get a ton of them and they're kind of there, but I feel like just encountering those, I'm not certain.
Put the llamas in mountain biomes and put the goats in other hills and stuff like that, or vice versa. Put the llamas in the rolling hills and put the goats on the high peaks, that kind of thing. I have this issue now. I find that I get spoiled by Minecraft Dungeons graphics. Like, you see something in Minecraft Dungeons and you see the goat in Minecraft, you're like, oh right, yeah.
All it needs is like a bit better lighting,
polygonal stuff. Like I can see people adding like that 3D texture pack that we were talking about before, where people want to add just a little bit of volume to certain things. Don't care. I mean, the fur and the hanging, texture is fine. It's more like the horns and things like that that do look a little bit funny, flat. But yeah, I think it's going to be a neat mechanic. I wonder if it's going to be something where like you have to have whatever the goat needs for food to keep it from headbutting you off a cliff, similar to how you have to travel with gold in your hand or gold in your head in the Nether. Maybe you have to now bring hay when you go up into the mountains adventuring, as distraction.
Make nice with the goat. Is like the idea there. And yes, I'm showing the screenshot of Minecraft Dungeons now with a little bit of extra lighting. I think they do look like, they've got a little bit more character to them. But we're also, in that other picture, only seeing the goat just from the side, which makes it look very flat to begin with, I think. Seeing them wander around. And they do jump really high.
It doesn't look like it has... The one in the Minecraft Dungeons looks like it has 2 boxes, whereas the one in Minecraft looks like it's 1 box.
It's got kind of haunches. I think it might be there, and it's just the snow layers behind it kind of making it look like it's a little...
Maybe you're right. Okay, I see it now.
It is very level with the terrain behind it, which is unfortunate for this screenshot. But
bad photo. Tangent. Tangent. Breaking the laws.
Yeah.
No, that's it. Yeah, there is something a little bit different about it in Dungeons, but yeah, I think that it could be the fact that Dungeons actually has 3D horns on it. That's probably what it is.
The Dungeons character on the left hand side there does also seem to have a goat skin armor. They've got like goat horns coming out the back of their head there, so that's not just the wolf armor. That seems to be a locally sourced armor. So
you can go from bare fist Steve to headbutt Steve.
I mean, if I can, I will. Let me tell you, like if that is an option in Howling Peaks, then I am all for it.
Just run around screaming Minecraft, just hitting stuff with your head.
Absolutely, I'll go for it. Yes, definitely. But I don't know why they jump as high as they do. Goats are known for leaping, but they seem to have a vertical leap of about 20 feet in the game. So
in this,
again, I'm not certain if that's going to be something that they will change, or if it's just they want to make it slightly more cartoony and the goats just kind of leap everywhere. Foxes do that as well.
I wonder if it helps them be able to maneuver around.
Yeah.
Like foxes only do that leap when they're attacking something.
Yeah.
I wonder if these goats, because they're going to be spawning on mountains and the new mountain generation is more steep, I wonder if it means that now you're not going to get a goat that just basically has these 4 blocks that it spawned on and can't get anywhere.
Yeah.
Whereas if it can jump, then it might be able to jump up 5-6 blocks in that direction and kind of like hop its way up a mountain. That would be actually pretty cool.
That definitely already happens with cows and sheep and stuff. They'll get stuck on one block of a mountain and not be able to pathfind up or down, and then they just kind of hang out there forever. And so I think a goat might look a little bit more home in that position anyway, unlike these farm animals that are just up a cliff somewhere.
Yeah.
But you're right. It would be nice for them to be able to target a block and leap to it almost like no matter what. So like the obstacles don't necessarily get in their way. And we don't know if the goats are going to take full damage, if they're able to like jump off, if they're going to find their feet more easily or what. But yeah, it's nice to see them, and nice to see that they have committed to the mountain update being a significant part of this. If not the focus, then maybe that people were saying in the chat, maybe the cliffs in Caves and Cliffs refers to the mountain update being a thing. That seems more than likely.
And they did show at least one screenshot from the algorithm about the new mountain generation when they were talking about the goat, and it looked really nice. There was lots of trees at the base, and it looked very not smooth, it looked jagged, but jagged in a intentional way,
in a natural way,
not jagged in a floating block Minecraft Minecraft has created a sky donut kind of way.
Yes. And so, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how those start to generate, if they're generating in worlds with existing mountain terrain, if it's going to be easy to blend the two of them. We're also getting powder snow, which is the snowier snow they were talking about. It's going to be a trap block. You're going to be able to fall through it. So potentially that's something you can trick mobs into walking over and then have them fall through it instead of using trapdoors, like you were saying. And it's going to generate naturally in mountain biomes so that you're going to be able to fall into it. And thankfully, you're not going to be ambushed by an Axolotl when you do, because they didn't get voted in the mob votes. So
that's right.
Those mountain peaks are going to be safe for now. Although maybe expect strays and the usual sorts of hostile mobs to be up there. Yeah, I think they've done pretty well. I think they've done very, very well. The one thing we haven't touched on so far that they mentioned is the Dungeons DLC, which is going to be Howling Peaks. And that is coming out. I can't remember if they said when it was coming out, but I would presume later this year, because they did say it was going to be before the Caves and Cliffs update, which is, we now know, coming in summer of 2021. So I would expect
December 2020.
Okay, is that in the Minecraft.net post? Great.
Yep.
So yeah, so we're seeing more Minecraft Dungeons DLC before the end of the year, which makes me happy because I really like the game. There seems to be a lot of wind mechanics in this one, so there's going to be areas where wind blows and it pushes you back. There's going to be this chap on the left-hand side who's another Illager variant who seems to have some measure of control over that. We also saw, and I don't have screenshots of this available right now.
What is that thing with the purple mohawk, or a pink mohawk? Like that is?
Yeah, it seems to be some sort of variant on the redstone golem idea, but taken to another level, which seems to be like a fun. It's got a kind of like wispy beard coming from underneath it. It looks almost like kind of
some sort of gold sword thing for a hand.
Yeah, it looks like it's kind of grown a beard of moss, sort of Shadow of the Colossus style, which is kind of fun. And they also showed off work in progress footage of updates that included the Nether, an ocean biome, and the End, or something that looks like the End. At least it didn't necessarily look like End terrain all of the time. It looked like there was more of like a fortress situation going on. We also saw the return of the Archaeology in that, very briefly, starting one of the ambush sections, and I don't know if that means the Archaeology is back or if that's just a placeholder for whatever ambush mechanic they have set up, and that's just like the intro to it for that level. But either way, the story of Minecraft Dungeons has expanded into this DLC in a really interesting way, where once you defeat the Archaeology, the Orb of Dominance shatters and it ends up getting split between all of these different biomes, and then you have to go and solve whatever the boss is at the end that has been corrupted by a shard of the Orb of Dominance, right? So we've had 2 of those so far with Creeping Winter and Jungle Awakens. We get a 3rd with Howling Peaks, and then somehow maybe some of the other shards have gotten into these other dimensions, or maybe even the implication might be that we go to the End to confront whatever the source of all of that is. Because if people are familiar with the final boss of Minecraft Dungeons, it is a very Enderman-looking thing, and it's called the Heart of Ender. And there is potentially some tie-in there that might be resolved in terms of the lore of Minecraft Dungeons if they include an update that has the End in it. So that's what has me excited about the future of Dungeons, is learning a little bit more about the story and then having more awesome levels to play as well.
Yeah, no, it all looks good. It all looked really, really fun.
The last thing I have to cover here is Archaeology, which is kind of a curveball, to be honest. Like, I'm not sure if I was expecting this at all. Like, I figured a cave update might arrive at some point, and some of the other stuff they've shown seems like a logical step forward for Minecraft. But then you have stuff like this, and this is really an interesting concept. Like, what are your first impressions of the Archaeology stuff they showed in the footage here?
This is the only point that they lost me in the presentation. Where I was just kind of like, granted, I know it's probably not aimed at me.
Yeah.
But I also feel like it just doesn't feel very Minecraft in that a lot of what we're seeing is stuff that you can do and take and used in all other places.
Yeah.
And archaeology as a mechanic in the game, it looks like you can just do it at these archaeological spots.
Yeah.
When you find stuff, you can sift through stuff. And I was thinking, like, it does seem like it's going to be that it's something that would be better suited as a Minecraft education situation.
Yeah.
Because I already have to spend enough time digging through stuff in Minecraft. I don't want to then have to take the time to dig one block in the same length of time it takes to dig 10 to reveal a scrap that I could then paint on a clay pot for perceivably no other reward than painting a clay pot.
Yeah.
So it doesn't really speak to me. It's very early. They mentioned it was early. They mentioned the art was temporary. So there's a lot about this stuff that could change. The only thing of interest to me was the fact that there's a clay pot model. That might be something more that you could then craft out of clay, which does look like it could work as a pot, a railing, a chimney. Like there's uses for the pot, but I don't want the clay. I don't want the ceramic tiles on the side of the pot. I just want the pot.
Yeah, well, I think just having the pot might be an option. And, ultimately, it's one of these mechanics that it's in the game. You can take it or leave it. You don't have to do the archaeology thing if it's not of interest to you. But then... depending on which direction the art takes and what else you can do with mechanics like this, what other treasures there might be to uncover, potentially you can dig up a trident or something, for example. It could be another way of getting a trident. Like, again, we're moving into speculation. None of this is kind of the stuff that they've confirmed. We saw people...
Options for peaceful players to find things that you can't get.
Yes, exactly. Like, being able to dig up stuff that is only available as a hostile mob drop, maybe. Yeah, there's some cool stuff there. And yeah, like it does seem like an education edition feature, but it might be interesting for regular Minecraft players to get hold of some of this. And you can also probably just craft and fire a pot, and then you have a nice clay pot to decorate your house with. We don't know what else they might add in terms of variants of that. So you might be able to dig up some other stuff that has some relevance, and you can maybe re-glue some of the stuff back together, and it comes in, all of these different shapes and sizes. It's a different idea than just having a nether brick flower pot, for example, which is another thing that's been, put out there, but largely speaking isn't a particularly innovative idea. It's just another retexture of an existing thing. This feels like something new. Aside from that, I guess it raises lore questions, and like we said, might be a way of getting interesting resources. Might also be interesting to see if the brush mechanic allows you to keep layers of the blocks that you are brushing down. Because that's the main thing I'm seeing people talk about in the chat. Like, if you can create dirt and gravel layers by the fact that you have a brush that removes them a layer at a time, then that's a mechanic people are going to really enjoy. It will probably be kind of slow. But if you don't care about preserving whatever shard of pot that's inside it and you just want 3 layers of dirt left, then maybe an efficiency thing for the brush. Enchanting it to make sure that it can be more, more effective at clearing that stuff down in a hurry. It's going to be interesting to see where they take that from now on.
And having a brush as an item in the game, I mean, like, you're one step closer to being able to use that in conjunction with dyes, and maybe...
You're one step closer to being able to give Steve a good shave as well. It looked like a little shaving brush with, like, the big wooden handle to it,
But just being able to paint wood or something like that. Like, the tools are there, and it's like, you're so close.
Yeah.
So close. And we have sacks now for inventory management. So there's that. Not sacks, sorry, bundles.
Bundles, yes. I was thinking in my head, if you add a stick to a bundle, does it become a bindle? Which for people in the chat who might not know the word, a bindle is like one of those things that you see people, strolling down the road with in Chaucerian times, where they've just got all their possessions in like a handkerchief tied around a stick, and that's like, I'm off to seek my fortune kind of thing.
Yeah. It's funny that they call them bundles, because like I'm thinking, like, why not like sack, bag? Like, they're just, you're looking at it, it's like, I guess bundle, sure. It's weird. It's a weird choice.
Yeah,
and I just kind of wonder if there's other precedents.
I wonder if it's also a word that translates better in terms of like colloquialisms into other languages. Because
good languages,
I was listening to a podcast the other day, and this is a bit of a tangent, but somebody was pointing out the way the word pineapple is the same in basically every language other than English, and it's called ananas in basically like 50 other languages, and English is just like the one outlier that's like, no, pineapple. So I wonder if bundle translates more easily than something like bag or sack might when people, take it out of context. And so maybe they just thought it was a cuter word. I don't know, but it
could be.
It seems like, a little bit more indicative of what it does. It bundles items together instead of just, having a bag like people have implemented backpacks and other, maybe there's names that are more widely used by mods and they want to avoid, the idea that they're infringing on other mods kind of, territory.
And the outside of Redstone, the on-player tech in the game is bows and arrows and crossbows and swords and shovels and stuff like that. So a bundle is like a backpack to me doesn't make sense. Like a bag or a bundle or a sack would make sense. So.
Yeah. I think that is basically all we're going to talk about today. It's basically all we have time for, and I wanted to get this wrapped up before 8 p.m. my time. We are fast approaching that at this
very
point.
Fast approaching
and I'm sure you've got other stuff to do yourself, Joel. But thank you, folks, so much for attending this Minecraft Live rebroadcast. I hope everything was okay with the sound and whatnot. I tried to do the best I could to ride the fader a little bit. Before we go, everybody in the chat, let me know what you're excited about for the Caves and Cliffs update, because I know it's going to be a little while off, but we have plenty of time to get hype for some of these features. Personally, I think the Warden is the highlight for me. The Warden and that whole deep dark area with the skulking sensors and everything. Joel, how about you?
I'm really curious about the wireless redstone. The what are they called? Skulk
sensors. Yeah.
Skulk sensors are interesting. Also try having a shulker full of skulkers and see how many times you can say that very fast.
Yes. Have a couple of beers and say that, yeah.
I think beyond that, the thing that excites me the most is the vegetation that I saw in the cave updates. Like the cave updates and the giant caverns and expanses, and the fact that you're going to be able to go through caves and get the kind of biomes going by that you do now in the Nether. That changed the way that feels entirely.
Yeah.
And I think that that's going to be a tried and true Minecraft experience that they are not flipping on its head. They're just taking to a place that I think will make for a much less monotonous experience. Like I think you're going to have to be on your toes. I think you're going to be able to enjoy going digging for stuff, I think is the main takeaway that I got from it.
Yeah, definitely. We also didn't even mention those platform plants that start to wilt when you're standing on them for too long.
There's a lot of stuff.
And the fact that we have forgotten about that feature up until now is testament to how big this update seems. There will also be features that I'm sure will come out in development that they're working on, but they haven't been able to announce here. Like, we got the Drowned as part of the update Aquatic, and that came out of nowhere. We had, all sorts of stuff has popped up in the last few updates that we never expected to begin with, and it's always been
a lot from Nether update.
Yes.
From what they said on stream last year to what we actually got. I mean, as one half of a podcast that does a lot of Minecraft news, we have an awful lot of content, I think, to cover over the next year, which is good news because it means that there's always going to be something new to talk about.
Yes, definitely. And, we're getting new wood types, we're getting new stone types. There's just, all kinds of stuff is going to start to bubble to the surface in the next little while. And we will be covering it on our podcast. It seems like an ideal time to plug the show because this has kind of been an official-ish broadcast of the Spawn Chunks, which is the podcast that Joel and I do together every Monday. You can find more information about it and, all of our previous shows at thespawnchunks.com or wherever you get your podcasts. And we are a listener-supported podcast, which means we're supported entirely by listeners through Patreon. Patreon.com/thespawnchunks is where you can go to join our community. We have a very active Discord, which I'm sure is being lit on fire as we speak by the amount of, messages and stuff about this update and people being excited for some of this new stuff, sharing all kinds of, screenshots that they took of the event today. But if you're interested in getting involved with that, once again, patreon.com/thespawnchunks. We are also at The Spawn Chunks on Twitter. You can also find Joel and myself at the Twitter handles on screen. And those are also both our online handles. So you are Joel Duggan basically everywhere. I am Pixlriffs.
Yes, I am.
Basically everywhere. So yeah, give them your links and stuff so where people can find you.
Sure. I mean, everything is just at joelduggan.com. You can go to the website. You get links to Instagram, Twitter, Twitch, all that kind of stuff. But Joel Duggan is the easiest way. Just type it in on your favorite platform, and you will absolutely find me. Speaking of, I'm actually going to boot up a Minecraft stream immediately after this, right there at the computer behind me. So
Great stuff.
I will have to take a little bit of a break. I didn't think this was going to be like 3 or 4 hours. So I do need to, I'm going to boot up the stream, but I'm going to have to grab something to eat before I actually log into Minecraft. Otherwise, I'm going to waste away.
Awesome.
So,
yes. Yeah, do that.
Yeah,
do that.
I'm going to do that right now. But yeah, so I'm going to stream from the Citadel. I'm sure there'll be lots of, things to talk about Minecraft in the chat there. But beyond that, it's just joelduggan.com. It's just kind of your links to all things me.
Yes, I have linked Joel's Twitch channel in the chat, so you guys can hop on board now, drop a follow, and when Joel goes live, you guys will get to hang out and probably talk a little bit more about it while we kind of all digest what we've started, and probably digest some food as well at this point. Yeah, thank you guys so much for being here once again. And thank you to everybody who has subscribed to my channel and cheered bits and stuff in the meantime. I really appreciate it. And yeah, I'll be back streaming some Minecraft for you tomorrow. I'm also participating in the 8-Bit Community's D&D game. They're playing Dungeons & Dragons with a series called 8-Bit Dungeons. I'm going to be involved with that tomorrow, and that's at twitch.tv/8bit_community. Would love it if some of you guys could drop by. I will post that on Twitter and basically everywhere else I post stuff. But I'll also be streaming tomorrow, probably either earlier in the morning or later in the evening, because the 8-Bit Dungeons game is happening around the time I normally go live. So I will hope to see some of you guys there. And that's going to be it from us. Thank you so much for coming to the stream. Really appreciate it. And we hope to see you guys again soon. Cheers.
Talk to you Monday.
Bye for now.